Welcome to the Haunted Chapel. It's like church, but for metal. Here are your hosts, John Araya and Brittany Elliott.
Welcome back to the Haunted Chapel. Thanks for tuning in again. We're hoping that you subscribe to us. I'm John Araya.
And I'm Brittany Elliott.
That's right, BZ.
Or BZ.
Or BZ. And before we go on, I want to say please follow us and subscribe on YouTube and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other major podcast platforms that are out there.
Everything is under The Haunted Chapel.
That's right, thehauntedchapel.com, Instagram at The Haunted Chapel, all those underscores in between the words and stuff like that.
This is going to be our third episode, so we're so grateful for you guys tuning in again, and I just have a feeling that this one is going to just rock you guys' world.
We want to clear up some things. Our last episode with Mike DeLeon, we were talking about all the shows that we went to with him because he was our show buddy. After shows came back, we missed a show. We forgot to mention Obituary.
How did we forget that?
Yeah, one of our favorite bands,
ever,
with the amazing Terry Butler, from Inhuman Condition.
Yes, and Death, and
that's right.
Yeah, he's just awesome. All of them, and the Tardis, and just all the guys are great. Kenny's awesome. They're just amazing humans and just shredders. Every time you see them, you just bow down. That's all. You just bow down.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Yes, it was. That was good. That was one of the best times I've ever seen Obituary, and I've probably seen them at least 10 times. But damn, the sound was incredible. So that was awesome.
They sounded great. It was really good. They were tight, and it was good talking to them. Man, we hadn't seen them in a while because of all that, COVID bull crap.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to meet up with them again and shoot their shit and
see Trevor and the Tardis and Terry and just everybody. We'd just seen Terry at Inhuman Condition, but it's just so rad to.
I was laughing because of Trevor. We're talking to Trevor and he's like, "Yeah, man, I sit on the dock and I just teach people how to fish and I rent out fishing poles." I'm like, dude.
He's on, man, I got used to this simple life. I just sell, what do you say? I sell bait to these kids, and man, I kind of like it. I don't know that I really want to go on the road anymore. I was like, man, I don't blame you. Once you get in that comfort zone, it's kind of hard to pry your way back out.
That was funny. He was funny talking to that
awesome
guy. I love Trevor. He's funny, man. So another gig that we went to recently was the Jerry Cantrell out at the Aztec. Man.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Just wow. I've waited my whole life to see him play the songs off Degradation Trip and Foggy Depot. Yeah. And I've seen Alice several times without Lane, unfortunately, because I was never able to see those shows. Mm-hmm. I was so young. And boy, that was just a religious experience for me. That was awesome. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. New album is killer.
New album's great.
Yeah.
It was a great set. He played solo stuff, but he played lots of Alice stuff too. And which
he did.
He wanted, I think he wanted to satisfy the crowd because there's people who are like, yeah, no,
super
more
Alice
solo
fans.
Jerry, no more Alice. It's like, So it's a fine balance. Like, okay, do I play more Jerry? Do I play more Alice? But I think the mix was good.
So, what was your favorite song that he played? Does something stick out?
Psychotic Break.
A Psychotic Break and Angel Eyes.
Angel Eyes.
Because I'm just Degradation Trip insane. Yeah. I could listen to that album every single morning.
They played Wood. Yeah. Alice in Chains, but I mean, like, he just played all the good songs.
Yeah,
man.
He did. That was just amazing.
And Greg did an amazing job, man. We had watched some clips on YouTube. And,
we had watched the live stream too, like around December that Jerry had a live stream.
That's right.
And it was like I think it was like $80 and you got a signed copy of Brighton and the live stream, which was like unbelievable. So
yeah, it was great. Greg sounded great. The whole band sounded great. Great players, man. What a fun show. There was this one dude up in the front. I guess he just bought the record. He's standing here holding the record up like for like 2-3 songs, like, yeah. And finally, Jerry was like, yeah, thanks, dude. Just, kind of put that down. And he'd go back and get a sip and come back. And he's like, no, man, really, man, just, please put that down. The people behind you can't see. And then he's doing the song and he comes back in between songs. All right. And then he looks at him and goes, dude, put the record down.
He was holding it up like the whole song, though. He's like, dude, it's bad enough to see through the phones, but you can't see through that record.
like 4 songs. And it was just like, I got your record. got your record.
He's like, I know, thank you. Now put it down.
Yeah, he told him to put it down. I was like, okay, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. But please keep the record down.
Yeah.
And that was funny.
That was awesome.
That was a highlight. And
highlight of my life.
we had a good spot. We were like right at the second tier, and we were like almost like eye level with them, because it was cool to check them out. And apparently, we caught their attention.
Jerry definitely saw you in the middle of the set. I saw him kind of see you, and he kind of, he's a very stoic man, but he saw you, and he kind of nodded and smirked and smiled. And then, hey, after he saw you, he started fucking going hard. He was just like, fuck yeah. He started getting that Alice swagger back. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. And the set was done, it was a great set. It was awesome to get ready to walk off, and they start throwing their picks out and shit. And then the drummer's out there, they're throwing stuff out. He gives a stick out to his kid in the crowd, and then he turns around and he throws a stick right at Brittany, like just directly at her. I'm like, oh my god! And I'm watching it like slow motion, like
everybody's like,
yeah, everyone sounds like raw.
It like this.
Whoosh, and she caught it between her fingers.
Between my fingers, I was like, no fucking way! I was like, wow! That was just unbelievable.
So after the show, we go back to the truck, and Britt brought this cool portrait that she did. I Like to Fly with the wings and the heart for Lane.
And it had it was like an anatomical heart with wings. I had a couple prints available of it a while back, but I gave Jerry my last one, and it was the one that was hanging in my shop. That was the original, and yeah, it's an anatomical heart with wings. It says, I like to fly, but then it kind of morphs down into Lane's tattoo that he had. Mm-hmm. Lane and Jerry had kind of matching skull tattoos that were done by, actually, I'm not sure who they were done by, but the flash was from a California legend named Bob Roberts. So that's an old school sheet of Bob Roberts flash that I kind of made it look like kind of like a ghostly version. And that was amazing to hand Jerry a piece of art, and it seemed like he kind of liked it, and that really that just made my life. He was like, wow, this is Lane's tattoo, and
he stood there for several seconds. He was like, that's really nice. Thank you so much. It was Lane's tattoo.
Yeah.
He's like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So awesome.
He went back and put it in his bunk and came back out. And it was cool talking with him again. I hadn't seen him in a few years. The last time I saw him was for my birthday, and I was trashed.
Your 50th, right?
Yeah, my 50th birthday in Australia. And it was cool talking to him. But so all the guys were like, oh man, we saw you guys from the stage. And Jerry was like, yeah, you were my focal point, you guys. And we're like, oh, what?
They said they felt our energy from the stage. And I was like, well, seeing how we were the only ones not on our phones and we were completely thrashing the whole time, I guess we stuck out like a sore thumb. And the drummer was so cool. He was like, I had 2 drumsticks from the show, and he was just killing it. I'm amazed they survived the entire show.
Sounded great.
Yeah, threw one to the kid and then threw one, and it landed, in between my fingers. But he was like, yeah, I was throwing one to the kid. And then he was like, I had to throw one to the chick with the sleeves, because I was just like this the whole time. So I guess my arm stuck out. That was pretty cool.
Keyboard player, I can't remember his name. I feel like a dumbass.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He's like, I saw you guys. I saw you guys. He is cool.
That was amazing. So if you guys have the chance to see Jerry on an upcoming tour, do not miss it. It was just unbelievable. I can't believe it wasn't sold out, because I was just mesmerized that he was touring for the first time in like 20 years solo.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm glad we got to go and
that was awesome.
Meet up with them after. I want to thank Johnny, their tour manager.
Thank you.
And I want to thank Greg too for texting back and forth with me, like,
and
hey,
our
man.
friend Dougie.
And Dougie, of course, who made it all
only
possible to get back and see the guys and thank them for everything, and to say hi and to shoot the shit for them. And I really wanted to introduce Britt to Jerry, because that's just like one of her favorite all time.
I was like the top of my bucket list.
Musical heroes.
Yes.
So
I was in the presence of God that night.
So I'm glad you got to meet him. That's really cool.
Thanks, baby.
Awesome. You're welcome. It was awesome. Yes,
it
was.
On another note, have you guys heard of Depp Metal?
Yeah, Depp Metal, man. You ever heard of Depp Metal?
Depp Metal. 2 P's. DEPP Metal.
So
that term was coined by our guest that's coming on in a couple of minutes, by the way.
That's right. And it's regarding the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial.
Shit show.
We've been watching it. We've been it's stolen so much of our time.
Yeah, it's like I don't even. I want to like. I'm like, dude, like I got to go to work in an hour. I wonder if I could reschedule this guy so I could watch this trial. I'm like, no, I got to go to work. It's just like,
so we're rescheduling your tattoos, and we're like doing we're doing our errands like to the courtroom, to the court trial. Like, okay,
crazy.
Okay, we got an hour. Let's go do everything really quick.
It's just like you can't pry yourself away from the TV. It's just like, what? She did what? Huh? I'm a lifelong Johnny Depp fanatic, and I was just like, you were with Johnny Depp and you did all this awful shit to him, and he's such a nice human and does all this awesome stuff for his family and his friends, and fuck you. Sorry, but not sorry. Do not like her. You know what team I'm on.
Especially like her dropping a deuce on his bed.
Classless, disgusting.
Really? That was supposed to be a joke? That's not funny, man.
Yeah, no.
You shitting on someone's bed is not funny. I mean, you shit your own bed, like if you get plastered or whatever and you can't hold it and you wake up with poop in your pants. Like that one time on tour
at band camp.
One time with Jeff.
Are you going to say that story for another time?
We'll do that story next time. We'll just keep going. We have to do this intro to get Jeff going. But
wait, who? You haven't introduced him yet.
Oh, I haven't.
Dun, dun, dun. On that note,
strike that. But yeah, so that whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard is just terrible. Like you don't. I
feel for the man.
You don't take a dump on someone's bed. Like, you like my practical joke.
It's not even that. It's the abuse that she caused him. But anyways, we could talk about that for an hour.
Hashtag Amber Turd.
Oh, yeah.
Amber Turd.
Aquaman knows.
Aquaman, Jason Momoa. Oh, my God. That clip of him just bagging. He's
painful.
My God, that guy's funny.
He's amazing. You can tell that he knows them both really well, and he's just like watching it, like, oh, this is like so like it's cringeworthy for us, and like we kind of Jason. I've met him, and he's awesome and fucking hilarious. And he's just like a big kid. He's just awesome. He's just fucking rad. But he's just watching it like, oh my God, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
His commentary is great. Oh my God, we watched that clip of so many times and just laugh every single time.
Oh my gosh.
Funny, but
crazy.
Man, what a shit show.
On that note, let's introduce our fucking awesome next guest.
Our next guest is the one and only godfather of death metal, Mr. Jeff Becerra.
Yes.
Possessed.
Hell yeah.
Legendary Bay Area band, still doing it now, 30 plus years later.
Amazing.
They just released their third full-length album in like over 30 years back in 2019.
And it's like they never skipped a beat.
Yeah, and it's great. It's phenomenal, man. It's got Emilio playing drums. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Emilio.
Oh, yeah.
He's awesome. Check out the latest record. It's Revelations of Oblivion. That was released in 19.
Mm-hmm.
Great record. And it's really good that he's out back out there and playing and recovering. I think he's in recovery now, right? He just had the back surgery.
Yeah, I think he's pretty much on the mend, and he's going to get back at it. They're playing a big metal fest in Mexico soon, and Jeff's just stoked on life, and he's just one of the most amazing, positive human beings I've ever had the pleasure of interacting with, and he's one of my personal heroes since I was a kid. I've just jammed 7 churches since the day I bought Welcome to Hell when I was like 13. It just kind of segued my life into, kind of underground metal.
The dark side.
That's right. And so, that kind of segue, I got into Venom, and then I got into Possessed and Obituary and death metal from there. But just talking to him, you're just like, wow, this dude is so fucking cool. So
he's got some really good stories too. Bay Area stories growing up, in that whole era. The beginnings of thrash metal and where they came from and everything. It was really good. It was really cool talking to him. It was, we spoke for like 3 hours with this guy, man. Don't
scare everybody off, babe.
No, we talked to him for like 3 hours, and it was amazing because we could have talked longer. But,
we could have talked for 24 hours. It was just like, man, I don't want to stop talking to you, but damn, it's been 3 hours. We're going to bore people, but I know you guys aren't going to be bored. And without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce Jeff, because this interview is the bomb.
It's great. So here we go, Mr. Jeff Becerra.
Hi. Hello. What's up? Johnny went to go get a drink. What's up, Jeff? I'm Brittany. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Brittany. How's it going? I feel like I know you because
I know.
Yeah.
Hey,
how's it going?
Good. I feel like I know you too. I plucked my record collection. These are mine since I was a kid. And
Awesome.
I'm very
Awesome.
honored to be talking to you. I'm sorry, Johnny
Yeah,
went MIA for 2 seconds.
You're the television star. Hey,
Oh, yeah, right.
yeah, you're awesome. Should I wear these glasses or should I wear my little Benjamin Franklin glasses?
Okay, baby, he's back. Hang on. Let's get Johnny's opinions too. He wants to know what glasses he should wear. Okay, let's do that again.
the Woody Allen, are we doing horizontal?
Are you doing horizontal, baby? We're on a laptop, so I'm not really sure how this. Yeah, that looks great.
Right. I got my little holder here for $19.
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing, Jeff? Man, good to see you, dude.
I'm doing. What do you think? These ones or these ones? I broke my glasses, so I'm like digging through the.
Ooh.
Let's see the other ones again. I like those.
I like those too. Those are cool. I like thick plastic frames though. Yeah, those look great.
Yeah. I look like an old man because I am. No.
You're not
We're
an
all
old man, dude. No way.
You're only as young as your current girlfriend. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Johnny and I came to a revelation that this year my age will, the two numbers of my age will add up to 8. I'll be 35 and he will be 53. So both of our ages add up to the same number. So we're the same age.
That's true. 35. That's what I'd do to be 35 again.
Oh, that's what people tell me. I'm like, I feel 100.
Really? 25 was the roughest year for me, because I was still fucking up and, it's still kind of really wild. And I was like, man, it's not cute anymore. Like I literally can't do this anymore,
Yeah. I can't thrash like I used to. We went to see Inhuman Condition and I fucked my neck up. I was tattooing the next day like, oh no, this is not good.
All the aches and pains are coming, man.
It's weird because I'll be on tour and I'll be all sore. Then I'll start banging and something will go and then I'll like feel good again.
It's like when you stretch.
Yeah, it's like the therapeutic of, because does a lion stretch? Hell no. You never see a lion stretching.
Oh, they don't stretch it, just lay around like
maybe once in the morning, like
get my food for me.
Yeah, they just go kill shit.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's awesome.
I think I made up a emoji, a Slayer emoji the other day. Tell me if you've seen it before. The umbrella with the rain on it, and then the drop of blood, raining blood.
That's awesome.
Oh boy, guess what? She just happens to have that too on her leg.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah. Umbrella, raining blood drops. That was my raining blood.
I had a tour manager that had the umbrella with blood drops coming down on it. Adam Bance, yeah.
We're tattoo buddies.
All right, right on.
And he stole everything that wasn't nailed down. I toured for a month and just made merch because I was holding the merch money.
Mm-hmm.
It was ruthless.
When was that?
Adam Bance. Yeah, I found out he's got a bunch of lawsuits but he literally was like, okay, I'll pay you at the airport. So my plane was about to leave. He's like, just in a second. Okay, they called my plane. He goes, took off running.
Later.
Dang. I don't know how people get away with that. I toured with a band. I won't name them because it'll call this guy out. But they were like, man, this is the first time we've made money selling merch. Like, what are you doing different? I'm like, not stealing the money, maybe. I don't know. They're like, oh, it's because you're a girl. But they found out that guy stole like close to $100,000 from them over 7 tours.
Oh my god! Yeah, the merch business is ruthless, man. You got to have transparency.
Yeah,
but there's a certain level of trust that comes with everything. Now, that's why, like with Possessed, like I'd rather not make money and just like cease and desist everybody. And like I spend so much money just like fucking with people because I hate it. I hate it. And like, so I just do like limited editions,
It's awesome.
And then, because Possessed is like, we're barely above the garage band when it comes to, so like, it's never really been about the money, but it's the principle, you know what I mean? And that gets me in trouble a lot of times. So like, like I don't go, give me a manager. Yeah, take my money. I'm like, I'm managing the band, I'll handle it. And like, companies get pissed at that. They want to push like exclusive deals and they just worm their way little by little until there's nothing left. So I'm like, whatever, because of my situation, I can't be touring 6 months out of the year anyway. So I just kind of do it myself.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, that's probably the best way. You can do it yourself, man. Mm-hmm. You're in charge of everything. You see everything goes through you, That's exactly
right. And I like literally don't steal. I trust myself. So you know what I mean? I got no reason to steal because, it's like the money's like a necessary evil to me. Like, of course you like it. It's good to get the kids through college and stuff like that.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I got to live with myself. So.
Exactly. So we talk about money comes and goes, but it sucks because it is a necessity sometimes to survive and live. This, just for basic necessities, man. It's
good for like food and shit.
Exactly. Yeah. And then if you got a little extra, just spread it around. Help someone out. That's what it's about.
Yeah, and I'm the kind of guy who likes giving more than receiving. Like I'd rather give a gift than receive one. So.
I don't think that you're just above garage bands. You're just everyone knows Possessed, man.
You're up here to us.
Yeah, I mean you're like
I like that.
Watching videos and watching these fans approach you and talk to you, and some of them you're signing their things and they're sitting there and they're crying with tears like, I love you, thanks for the music. 30 years later, and you still have people and fans coming up to you, even younger fans who are like, I love you. That's amazing.
It's a trip, man. I like being a cult band. I mean, I'm really happy with that. I like being a cult band. I like having my own sound. Like when you hear Slayer, it's Slayer. When you hear Motorhead, it's Motorhead. Yeah. When you're Possessed, it's Possessed. Yep,
exactly.
It's a developed sound, and I like that. I like being my own unique sound, So.
Oh yeah, you definitely have that, man. Definitely.
I gotta apologize. I was a little nervous, and I was talking to my friend, and I just stayed up all night. I was like, if I fall asleep, I'm gonna be groggy. So.
No, man, I was nervous too. I was researching and writing, just like reading up on you, and
I was just listening to all my Possessed records all day.
She put on her shirt and she just like starts.
I've had this forever, my whole life. I'll send you a picture of me in my tattoo apprenticeship wearing the same Possessed.
You're so cool. You always got outfits and
it's so fun. It's just my same old fucking metal shirts I've had since I was a teenager. So.
Yeah,
the same ones.
You're fun. Yeah, I like your feed. It's great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Some people are fun to look at. You're like one of those entertaining people.
Thank you. I just try to keep it positive and create a bunch of cool art. Hope people like it. If they don't, then sorry.
Hey, art is great. I mean, to make something beautiful out of nothing, or something terribly horrific and evil out of nothing. It's just to me, it's like it's the craft of art. Like we're all artists, we're all entertainers. And that's really what's important.
Yeah, I like taking something old and shitty and making it look cool. Like old furniture and tattoos, and people are like, man, nobody will touch this because they say it looks like shit. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And I love the challenge, and I love when they say, oh, so-and-so won't do it or so-and-so won't do it. I'm like, hell yeah, I can't wait to post this and they'll see it. And they're like, oh shit, someone covered that. It's fun.
I get people that are like, I don't do Satan. I'm like, see you later. No.
Sucks to be you.
That's fun.
Well, what's funny is like all the stuff's out of the Bible, but you say 666 in front of a, like a vehement Christian. They're like, you can't say that. I'm like, I didn't make that up. No.
That's been around for a long time, man. You can't get mad at me.
Yeah. Didn't invent
I like 667. It's like the neighbor of
the neighbor.
Or actually, it would be like across the street.
Across the street. Yeah, it would be 668. I think would be the neighbor.
But unless you're in like a cul-de-sac. If you're in a cul-de-sac, it might work. No.
We used to live in a cul-de-sac.
Yes.
Yeah, so right, Children Court, right around the corner from Kirk Hammett.
Oh, no shit.
Awesome.
I used to ride my skateboard over to Kirk's house. Hey, you want to jam? I like crushing on his sister. She was so hot.
What year is that around? What'd you think? 82?
Yeah, 82, 83, probably. I don't know.
Wow.
Early.
Wow.
Well, no, I was in 10th grade, whatever 10th grade is. So I graduated in 86. So yeah, I used to run 83.
Yeah, right on, man.
Me and Larry started our first band in like 79.
79, right? Yeah, you and Larry, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's when I wrote the lyrics for Burning in Hell. I was 11.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Was it 11 or 15?
No, well, we started Marauder first.
Okay.
And then we went to Blizzard. And then me and Larry went over and started Possessed. They were a garage band playing Priest and Maiden covers. Then I met up with Trejo, who was just as sick and twisted as me. I literally got kicked out of my band because I wanted to go heavier. And they got into this like acid trip and started going to Dead shows. I was like, fuck, I hate that hippie shit. And like, and then like I don't know, like I don't want to go in break bad or anything, but I had experience with like seeing Jerry, and it was a real turnoff, and I just didn't like that scene. I don't like tripping on acid. You know, and so I just wanted to play heavy and shit, you know. And so they were going that way, and they kicked me out of my own band. It was like, that feeling just sucks. Have you ever got kicked out of a band? It's like the feeling that when you get divorced. It's like that, you know. But you never done that either.
No, yeah, you haven't ever been divorced, have you?
No,
that would be
been
a new
divorced.
fact.
Never been divorced. Never been kicked out of a band.
The band was worse.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
At least I made some money when I got divorced. You know.
Go Jeff.
It was great because it was like real amicable. We're still like really best friends today. We talk like all the time. And so right after we split everything up, we liquefied, and then the bubble popped. So we would have been totally underwater. You know, I was yeah. So everything happens for a reason.
It happened right before all that. Wow. Yeah, you got lucky there.
So have you ever been kicked out of a band?
Never been kicked out of a band.
Good.
Never. My first band was in high school. Was Bloodcum. I left because, you know, those guys just wanted to drink and party like all the time.
Yeah.
And there was a point to where I was like, you know what? I was kind of like not writing everything, but I was like, come on, man, let's work, let's jam, let's write some stuff. And they were like,
that's probably because they couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it. So we were just like partying and like, no, you know, whatever. And I'm like, well, screw this. I'm not going to waste my time and just jam.
It's a lot. It's a lot to write a song, man. You like really put yourself out of there. You know, it's like no net. You know, you're just kind of floating there. And but what I've learned is like half the shit I write ends up on the floor. So I just keep writing and sending riffs, writing and sending riffs.
It's like my drawings.
I was watching you post bass clips on YouTube once in a while. You jamming on the bass.
Yeah, I just picked it up again.
Yeah, that's rad. There was a couple of them that were really cool. There was one, the Heartbeat in Hell.
Oh yeah.
I love that one.
Mistake.
It's cool. It's real moody.
That came out of a mistake. I was trying to do like a scale, and then I noticed if I played a rhythm over the scale, it clicked in sync and made these little arpeggios.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's fucking cool. But some reason I knew it would work out, and like it just worked out. It was cool. I don't think I could ever recreate that.
No. Oh, so that was just like it's spontaneous type of recording thing you did.
Yeah. What's trippy about it is because it's on a loop, and it's offset on the timing. If I play that one rhythm, so it's cyclical, and it changes like every time. So it's slightly different every time, and it just keeps changing and changing and changing. You know.
There was another one on there. You had that. You were jamming with that harmonica.
You just being all corny.
Just sitting with his bass, with the harmonica just blowing away, and just playing the bass. I'm like, how did he do that?
I was singing too. The longer bass, yeah, it's all. So I was just making up shit. Yeah, it's so corny, dude. I don't know. Like a lot of people get pissed at me. They're like, Jeff, don't do that. You know, you guys.
Whatever, man. It's you're just having some fun. You know.
I made a pop song the other day. Did you hear that?
Yeah, the last one with the auto changer, the voice changer, right?
Yeah, just the backups. Just the backups are auto tune. And so I was like, fucking turn that up to 10. But you know what? Metal bands now, they're all using one form of auto tune or not. You know, like it's just. It's the normal. I don't do that with Possess, but like a lot of these bands now, man, I'm calling them out. It is the new industry standard. Not necessarily auto tune, but there's one that's more metal and more. It's not so. It's more. What's the word? Innocuous. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You can just tune it up instead of doing it a million times. You can, but. For some reason, that's really against my principle. I don't know why.
I hear you.
I'm probably stupid. But,
No, you're right, man. It's like watching a metal band playing to a backup track. Like, what?
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen that a couple of times. I'm like, man, this isn't cool. You're cheating.
We all know who we're talking about. No.
Yeah, we do. We're you're all cheating. You're all cheating the crowd, and you're paying to see you play. And you're just lip syncing.
That's or I mean, like you can oversample too. I mean, but some of it's cool. Like I dig like Rob Zombie. He samples a lot, and it's just cool because it's like a horror movie.
Yeah,
and I think Slipknot can get away with it because they're fucking talented. You know.
Yeah.
And when people are just obviously talented, I think that maybe it's a means to an end and it's a desired effect.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of bands they emulate that and they get it wrong, you know.
Yeah. They when it's done tastefully, it's like, oh wow, that sounds really good. But when it's just
It is.
when they just rely on that shit to carry a tune, it's like, all right, yeah, you guys, whatever.
It's true. It's like a pick on bass. Like sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. You know, like as a general rule, I don't play with a pick. But like some punk songs or some songs, you just want that pick sound.
Yeah, you want that punch, that attack, you know.
Yep, exactly. I saw an article with Gene Simmons the other day, and he called out all bass players that play with their fingers and just said you're all idiots because it doesn't sound good.
Well, yeah. What's Dio's famous quote? Gene Simmons also invented orange juice.
Orange juice, yeah.
So there you go.
And he sued King Diamond. He sent him a cease and desist.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's got the makeup, right?
Okay. Is this the same as this? That's let's fact check real quick.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
He's the Batman, the demon.
I gotta get some ink from you, man. Like my whole life, I've wanted. Yeah, I'm dying to get ink, but I just never find the time. You know, it's like
come on,
get one on my neck.
Come on over.
Yeah,
dude, I would be so honored. That's how I met Johnny. He wanted to get tattooed, and somehow he found me, and here we are.
What was the tattoo?
It was a Satanic Weremock, the first from the fan club, the original skull. You know,
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the band announced the last tour, and I'm like, man, you know, it'd be cool. I never got a Slayer tattoo the 30 plus years that I worked with those guys.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get one just to a chapter in my life that's closing. You know, these guys are done. So I'm going to get a tattoo.
That still hurts.
Yeah.
I remember, okay, well, it was one of Slayer's first tours. We did like two pieces of two tours. We did a section, and Slayer like gave us like, we got, I think that Debbie asked, and they said, you know, I like you. You got moxie. Like you got a lot of balls asking us to tour. And then we got on the tour. But back then, neither one of us were really big. And so we got on the tour. We did 2 U.S. Little Johns and that was one of their first ones. And then I played their last show in Norway. So I was there in the beginning. I was there in the end. Yep. And it's like heartbreaking. Man. I don't think they should retire, but you know, I wish it was up to me.
Yeah, that last show was the
Tons of rock.
Tons of rock. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, I got 5 all access VIP passes from Gary Holt. He walked all the way across the compound and gave us the passes, and it was cool just sitting there with Gary, and Mayhem was there, and Satir and Anders Odin, and it was cool. We were just chilling, and you know, me and Gary go way back. Like I've known him since I was a little kid, you know. Because I mean, it's a microcosm. You know, El Sab, we had Primus, we had, you know, Metallica, well, Kirk, and we had the Green Day were like the little stoner kids on skateboards. And my daughter actually dates Billy Joel's nephew, Billy Joel's nephew. So,
Billy Joel Armstrong, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kept in the rock and roll family.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, and there's Y&T was around there. Outrage was kind of like a pre-Exodus thing. And God, there were so many bands that are just around there. It's like a real microcosm. The Greg Kinn band, we're down in Penhall. You know, it's a trip. It's a trip. I remember. Okay, I got to tell the story before I forget it. I remember, like, it clears about. You know, you have like certain outstanding thoughts, whether they're ridiculously young or not. But I remember on the last day of school, like I never went. In my high school, like at lunch, we'd all jump in my truck and go like camping or drink beer or whatever. We'd go down to John's Liquors and get some 40s and some wine coolers or whatever we could. And I never went. So I was going to flunk. It was like some sort of world history. I forget what they called social something. But Mr. Valentini said like, you know, you're going to flunk all year long. And I just didn't go. And then on the last day, I was like, fuck, I'm going to get held back. So he made me wash desks, right? I washed desks. And I remember how arrogant I was. I'm like, is that enough? And he's like, no, you need to learn a lesson. Like he's going to teach me a work ethic, you know? And so it was just the sun was set. And he finally left me out. He's like, get the fuck out of here. And I went out and I was standing by the flagpole because I was a stoner and I forgot where I parked my truck. So I'm like looking around. I looked at the white flagpole and some girl had wrote, "I heart Jeff Becerra." And I said, yeah, I had a good feeling about that. I wondered who it was. And I said, man, I'm 18. I'll never be this handsome. I'll never be this free. And I'll always listen to fucking Slayer. And I was like, that's my truck. And I found it. And that was it. But I remember that. I remember that clear as a day. Like, and it's true, you know, it's true. There's some truth.
Okay, favorite Slayer song?
Well, you know, I like the early stuff. I like it all, you know.
Yeah.
And we got a whole revamp with Gary, who's like, Gary is like the hometown hero, you know, like Exodus was the band growing up. So I like Show No Mercy. I like Magic. I like you know, everything off the Show No, everything off Dawn in the Chapel. Just, I like all Slayer's great. I mean,
okay, what song would you go crazy to when it came on at the show? It's just like, me, it's like, Chemical Warfare.
Yeah, Chemical Warfare, sick.
Yeah, it's just
and,
like,
and Hello 8's like the whole intro shit. You know, it's like you're just fucking anticipation. You know, it's like the intro, some of those intros where it's just warming up. You're just like, you know, it's like that little backwards message rolling over, and you're just like straight to fucking roar. You know,
that intensity build up, and you just blow up.
Slayer found the sound. I don't know where they got that from, but that was it's just such a unique and awesome sound. Like there'll never be another Slayer. You know what I mean?
Do you think they regret splitting up so early or retiring early?
Know. Yeah, I can't say. I mean, you know, I mean, to me, like, you know, being a band's everything. Like, you know, this I've been, you know, recovering from surgery last year, and it took me, you know, 33 years to get. Well, I mean, I started touring again. I was touring like 13 years before the album.
Yeah.
But that space, you know, between when I got shot and got the band back together, you know, getting my shit together and going to college, you know, getting married, having kids, and, you know, doing the things that I needed to do. So I didn't wake up one day, and I'm not saying this for everybody, just for myself personal. I didn't want to wake up and be 53 and all I've ever done is, you know, be in a band, and because of, you know, addictions and you know, injuries, and, you know, there's certain things I had to take care of. I always wanted to have kids, but I missed it so bad. Like it's like a piece of me was missing. And so I don't know I think if everybody's got their own journey, you gotta respect that.
Yeah,
you gotta respect it. But they left an eternal mark, and I don't think you could put any more punctuation on it than they did. So it's I mean, it's good to go out at the top of your game, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I am going to write it till the wheels fall off, literally. So,
it was about the Bay Area growing up back in the early 80s. Mm-hmm. What was that like? That must have been just insane. All these bands are just starting up. You had, you know, Legacy,
Pre-Testament.
All these.
We had, you know, Death Angel. We had Exodus, of course, Possessed. Metallica moved down. Mm-hmm. Slayer was back then. There was a big rift between LA and the Bay Area. And then Slayer's the one that mended that rift, because until Slayer, we were like, literally, somebody would mention LA, we'd be like, fuck LA, you know, because that's where all the posers came from.
That's where posers came from.
Bailoff didn't like that.
And like I say, it was very much a microcosm, and it felt revolutionary. Like it felt like something was going on. It was very important to get to Ruthie's, where I had to climb out my window, run away, hitchhike, you know, take a bus, ride my 10-speed, my skateboard. You know, I can't. I mean, I walked all the way up, hitchhiked, but we had to get down there and you know, pray at the altar of Holt, you know, because it was just that important to us. Yeah. And like, you know, in bands back then, like every weekend you'd see like James and Kirk and Lars running around, partying with them. And you know, then once Slayer came out, I remember Gary Holt saying, dude, you got to check out this band, right? He said, they're from LA. I know. Like, don't freak out. Like, because I was like, he's like, they're called Slayer, dude. They're fucking sick, man. They got pentagrams, upside down crosses, man. I was like, ooh. And so, you know, and so I got the reason that, you know, I mean, Gary Holt endorsed them So everybody was there. And that fucking pit was, oh my God, it was like, just Ruthie's is a small shithole. It's just, we call it the CBGBs of the West Coast.
Yeah, totally.
I think I coined that term, but I mean, all the tables, all the chairs, everything were instantly white. It was going around the whole thing was a seating pit, and they had those. That's when they had the big bright like pool lights and the upside down cross.
Yeah,
and it was fucking sick, dude. It was so sick. Like, so then we started, seeing bands come down from LA. And realized, of course, now LA is like probably one of the most vibrant scenes in America. You play the whiskey, it's fucking rude. It's like, it's insane, So, but Slayer opened up the East Coast, West Coast rift. The Biggie Tupac war was over.
That demanded that Bay Area, LA battle or whatever it was that was going on.
Yeah, it was a rift. All the bands that shall not be named with the Poodle Doos and the Bleach Chair. And that was like our arch nemesis and one of the driving factors, of thrash and early death metal. And we wanted to be heavier, we wanted to be faster, and the Bay Area was the place to do it. And it did feel revolutionary through the haze of drugs and alcohol. We had purpose, And I mean, I didn't think of anything else.
Yeah, that was amazing. That era, everything was just new. Everything was brand new and just starting. So being the barrier though for that the birth of thrash and death metal, that must have been just insane, because down in LA it was all hair, and they kind of went punk rock and for about a quick second, and then it went straight to glam, And and now back then I would say that all glam was trash. But now when I'm older, it's a valid form of art expression, I mean, it's not my thing, but you know what almost really killed us is grunge. Grunge almost exterminated death metal, It was like just barely surviving, so. Yeah, I remember Nirvana came out and just annihilated,
Yeah.
That was it.
And there was some damn good music coming out of there too.
Yeah.
But it just, I mean, those were bleak times. Like I literally thought that death metal was going to disappear.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of radio rock and stuff too, like in the 90s, like Cranberries and stuff like that too, that like people were super into that. And then it was like, you're super into grunge and typo and stuff like that. But
hey, it's funny how you mentioned that. I got a mild flex. The last album we charted over the Cranberries.
Yeah, I don't know what made me think of them. I was just like I just remember like I grew up in the 90s, so it was like just watching music videos and learning about music that way, and just like being like, fuck, I can't wait for this video to come back, man, or come back on, and you have to sit through all this bullshit until like a Beavis and Butthead would come on and you'd see something cool or something, It's like fuck. And I'd be recording it on my VHS. Yeah, just like
back in the day.
It came on, but I just remember that dominating metal.
Yeah, I remember MTV. But me and Larry and Mike Miner from Blind Illusion, we were like thick as thieves. We were like these little badass kids that like ran around and just did metal, and we were like freaks. Like we were like the long hairs, but Mike lived up the street and he was in a band, and I watched them play and I was like, man, I want to do that. And I played guitar back then, and then we had a guy named Danny Bowen, rest in peace. He had a real Gibson SG. So I started with drums, and I went to guitar, like classical guitar. Then I got a Les Paul Seville, like a copy, but he had a real Gibson. So I switched to bass so I could be in the band. And we started our little band down in my basement, and little kids. And then we were already playing shows with like Exodus and Blind Illusion, Aftermath, and I remember just being like a little kid. My bass was huge, those pictures, and it's like, yeah, man, it was everything. So even though the mics were older than us, me and Larry were already kind of seasoned pros, in comparison. Yeah. Even though they're the older kids, we got with them and we had already gigged and everything. So it was cool. Our first gig, my sister, we were just fucking around in the basement, and my sister comes down. She's like, I got you a gig, right? She financed my first bass, $20 a month. And because nice. She's older than me. and she got us a gig at a keg party with like the older biker kids, you know, like they were the cool kids that went on to ride Harleys and, you know, were already riding. And so we got, you know, a keg party. We put down a piece of plywood, and that was the drum stand. And like they were drinking real beer, and we got to drink real beer. They were smoking pot and cigarettes, and it was cool, man. And we thought we were the shit. And we started out with Paranoid. You know, remember, like 11, 12 years old. And our singer Steve Gibb, rest in peace, he got paranoid and paranoid, and so he just kept singing this first lyric: "Finished with my woman, cause she couldn't help me with my finished with," over and over and over. And then we were like, "Oh my god!" It was just flashing embarrassment. And they were like, "Yeah!" Like this was like these little kids, you know, playing Sabbath.
Awesome.
So that was our claim to fame. We were the little kids that like played metal, you know. Yeah. And so that really got us through, you know, a lot. You know, just it was kind of a novelty being so young, you know.
Yeah. You were ahead of the game a little bit there, you guys.
Yeah, and that's where we met Gina and Julie. We seen the two blonde chicks, and we like, hey, let's go and talk to them. And they were kind of like flashing the eyes. And we went over there. I was too shy, leaning back. And Larry and Steve like kind of talked to them. And there was John Fogerty's niece, Michelle, was there. And it's a microcosm. Yeah. And they're like, hey, my mom's hella cool. Why don't you come up to the top of Wright Avenue and we'll party? You know, my mom's hella cool. We could like smoke out and drink beer. So we like walked like 5 miles the next day. And that's how I met Debbie. And Debbie managed my first band, Blizzard. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Debbie Albona, rest in peace. She did a lot for the Bay Area bands there, and she kind of moved on to the East Coast as well later.
Yeah. Debbie was cool, man.
She did a lot.
Yeah.
She's very missed in the Bay Area community. I know that for sure.
You know, nobody knew what we were doing back then. For the first albums, like I never made a penny. In fact, I just got paid for that, like last year. Really? It was just sitting there, and I had to like go in there with lawyers, and it was like a 15-year process trying to deal with Sony. And I think what their thing is bands that like aren't rich, they just hold on to that because, you know, they're making that interest. Or maybe I had to notarize it, and then they like made me notarize it again. Then they try to make me do it again. I just kept getting the runaround, you know, it's like a telemarketing. But finally I sent my lawyer in there and we got it. So it was cool.
Wow, really? So that Sony bought your catalog, the Combat?
Yep. In fact, I think half of it's still laying around. I have to go to like some eschewment. It went to the state or something, so I have to go chase it there. Wow! But like I say, it's all time. You know, time. You know, there's not enough hours in the day. So, and which was a good thing because then I reconnected with Larry, and so me and Larry started talking. He's the same old guy. We're gonna meet up in LA before the Wasp gig and jam and go out to lunch. I'm gonna try to get him. He's down to like get on stage and play a couple songs with us.
Really? Wow, that'd be rad.
Yeah, Larry's super cool, man. It's always been cool.
Yeah, we just that Primus was on that final tour we did, and it was cool catching up with him a little bit and talking to him. It's just amazing to see that Possess and then going to Primus. I'm like, what? This is the same Larry Lalonde. Wow. Okay. Cool.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't know that. You know, that was one of the Bay Area bands. We go to the Berkeley Square and watch Primus play, or Metallica, or you know, whatever. We'd go down there and Raven, or you know, whatever. Like we just go to gigs everywhere. There was Ruthie's, the Berkeley Square. There was the Rock on Broadway, the fabulous Mabuhay Gardens, the Stone San Francisco, the Omni later on. And we just kind of that's where all the gigs were, you know. So
I remember the Stones. Did you ever travel to Palo Alto and go to the Stone up there in Palo Alto?
That was a little far from my skateboard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you get up there?
I think I have been there, but it was God, who did I? Yes, I think I saw Lita Ford and Quiet Riot there, and that I remember. Let me see. It was the year that the redial on the phones where you could just hit redial. Yeah. And Larry's mom was one of the first people to have that. So we were on a radio show and we were just redialing. So we won 2 tickets. We're like, yeah, we got tickets. They were like, shit, how are we gonna get there? And so I called up my sister and I was like, hey, you know, she has a license. I was like, hey, will you drive? She was like, yeah, if you win me and Michelle, her friend, tickets. So we redialed. Yeah, we won 2 more. Yeah, so we went and saw Lita Ford. She was playing that warlock. I think it was a warlock that said "Eat Me" on the fretboard.
On the fretboard.
And I remember thinking, man, that's a bold chick. Like,
She's crazy badass.
Lita Ford, Runaways, man. You know.
Yeah.
That's right. So you saw Quiet Riot and Lita Ford in the Quiet Riot in the heyday then.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It was awesome. I saw Rhodes with Ozzy. I saw
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, later on we went to the Peace of the Mind, and Toby Rage did a flip off the PA. He climbed up from like 30 feet. So I was like, I don't know if I can do that. So I like waited for my moment. I hopped the barricade, jumped up on stage, you know, and I ran right around Steve Harris and did a double flip over the barricade. Just mowed people down. The security was fucking on me, man. Like I took my jacket off and I crawled, and then they were looking for me everywhere. So I went in the rodeo room, you know, where all the drunk people are, and laid down, and then they were all going by me. Yeah, I went in the bathroom and I came out but I almost got it, you know. So I saw, you know, we saw tons of gigs, man. Tons of gigs.
Yeah, Toby Rage. Speaking of Toby Rage, man, what a legend.
You know, he came from a real, kind of a wealthy family of kind of socialites, you know. So
really?
He was a true black sheep. Yeah, I think his parents were professors or something. I forget.
Wow.
But I remember he turned me on to like Fang and, you know, a lot of the early punk bands, Discharge, and you know, Toby was the punk guy that listened to metal. And we thought that was real cool. That was before, you know, punk and metal merged. You know, we were always getting fights with the Nazi punks. I can't tell you how many fights I've got. My knuckles are all teeth marks. My nose is crooked. My teeth are all cracked. Like the dentist said, 4 more punch in the mouth. But I used to box too, and they're all going to shatter. I broke this wrist 7 times.
Wow.
Yeah. We were in fact, on the Slayer tour, I had a removable cast and a cast on my leg.
I didn't know that.
yeah. Because the pit was vicious, man. I seen Toby Rage run through the Ruthie's pit with a pair of fucking meat hooks. Yeah, he was nuts. Yeah, super nuts. Yeah, there'd be it was nuts, man. There would be people I think they were just dead, laying in the gutter. It was, oh my God. It was not PC, man. There were so many drugs.
Mm-hmm.
It was, drugs were the standard. You know, it was everywhere. A lot of people are like, oh, I wish I lived in the 80s. I said, well, the 80s without the drugs would be cool, you know? But, yeah. I mean, at the time, you know, we started partying so early that, you know, I thought that was normal, you know? Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that, you know, you weren't supposed to be high all the time. And so whenever I quit, I was like, wow, it was like a whole new high. This is the high I've been trying to get, you know? So
the natural high.
Yeah, I'm still digging it too.
Yeah, that's great. Good for you, man. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I drink once in a while, but it'll be years until
Yeah.
That's how we are too.
Yeah, same here. Just kind of you cut that out a little bit, and you know, you just realize, wow, you know, I feel good, you know, mentally and physically. So
and you stop craving it too after you come to that revelation. You're like, man, I don't even want it anymore, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It takes a little while, but then you just don't think about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, alcohol was it wasn't, you know, I was doing harder drugs, and that was a real problem. But I'm glad I got out of that, really. And I'm glad my kids never got into it too. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's tough for some people to.
I don't regret it though. I had some fucking fun. I'm not gonna.
Who's that Bill Hicks comedian who's like, oh yeah, he goes, you're against drugs. Take every album that every rock star has ever recorded and throw it away because they were influenced by drugs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kids are getting smarter now. You know, whenever I came back to the scene, that was one of the blindingly noticeable differences, that drugs were just not everywhere. You know, You'll see them, but it's not like it was.
Yeah, so, for sure. And it's scary now. Like,
fentanyl and all that shit.
All the synthetic stuff just on the streets illegally, and people just taking it and like, all right, shoving whatever up their nose, and rolling that dice, man. They're rolling that dice. Yeah.
It's a killer.
Yeah, it's
and
terrible.
So, and all the meth moved over to Mexico because I guess we outlawed ephedrine, which is a primary chemical component, but it's not in Mexico. So now they got those super labs. It's like 10 times more, and it's all ran by all that. So it's not a mom and pop shop anymore.
The new series is going to be called Quebrando Malo.
Quebrando. Malo is bad.
Yeah, so Breaking Bad in Spanish is dad joke. Sorry.
Yeah. I always say my dad will be messing around. I'll call him Ricardo Cabeza. Richie, take care. My dad's he breaks bad on tour.
Your dad's great, man. He Ben, correct?
Yeah, Ben Becerra.
You guys share the same birthday?
I used June 17th. I'm June 15th.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It was Mexican mating season.
My grandma has my two uncles on my maternal grandmother's side. My two uncles have the same exact birthday, and they're 4 years apart. So one year we were all messing with my grandma at dinner, and we're like, "Grandma, what are you doing this time of year, 9 months before Todd and Scott's birthday?" She's like, "Oh my God." It was like her special occasion. She has two kids on the same day.
Oh, that's awesome.
4 years apart.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So coincidental. It's like a cycle, it's like a cycle.
That's true, because my little younger sister, she's a year younger than me. We're a year and 1 day apart. So I'm March 10th. She's March 11th.
So what were your parents up to 9 months before y'all?
Yeah. We were, I was told that her and I weren't expected. We were like, oh shit, I'm pregnant. Because
a happy coincidence.
Yeah, there was a long pause.
Yeah.
There was a long pause between my older sister and me. There was like maybe 4 years or so. And then I don't know what happened. How was he born? What happened? Where did he come from? My dad used to tell me that he found me in a dumpster.
Oh,
I used to tell my sister she looks like the milkman. My sister's dark. I'm light. My dad's dark. My mom's light. But my mom's side is Cherokee, and my mom's mom is full-blooded Cherokee. Her mom was on a reservation, and then her dad is Swedish. So he came over. His family came over from Sweden, and he's a war hero. He's got 5 Bronze Stars. And
wow, amazing!
Yeah, nicest guy ever. I mean, before he passed. And then my grandfather Ignacio, I think his dad was like friends with Pancho Villa. I think Jesse James was running around there somewhere. But they were like hardcore partiers, and they did concreta. Like they did concrete. Every good Mexican does concrete, including myself. I could finish when I was 8.
Oh,
that's back when your dad would just take you to work.
Yep, I remember those days.
yeah, man. My dad still does concrete. He's like 79 years old or something.
He's still out there.
Wow.
Yeah, he just did a day before yesterday. He just did a big job. So
wow. I remember I met your dad on tour, on the Danzig tour with I think it was Marduk.
Yeah.
That's Marduk, and I met your dad, and he's great, man.
He's too old to go out now, but that was the kind of fun because I left home when I was 16, pretty much, and I was kind of always the black sheep. And so when I got older, when you're a kid, you're like, screw my parents. And then when you get older, you're just like, oh man, I hope they don't die. I want to kind of make everything right. And so when he finally went on tour with me, he was like, wow, you're like a rock star or something. And I was that's like one of the first times I really heard him. He said, I'm proud of you,
Oh, wow.
It was like, we had a moment, and I said, well, what did you think I was doing? And he's like, I thought you were getting drunk and fucking around.
Hanging out with your friends. I thought you were just hanging out with your friends. Doing all this stuff.
Well, that's great.
And of course, it's a lot different back in the 80s than it is now, because now they got, the I didn't play a festival, a European festival, till 2010, I guess. So,
right.
you know, those big festivals with 100,000 people, 150,000, you know, those were all like, that wasn't what Possessed was, like a very small club, very culty band, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, like like, to me, like, it would be nice to get super big, but I also like being in that niche, you know, that cult niche, you know.
Yeah,
and it's weird because, you know, you try to make an album for, you know, 33 years and you know, you're just crawling. It seems like every step forward is a step back, and you finally get the album out, and then, and you know, for a second, it's just like, yes, but then you're like, oh man, like what now? You know, like it's a terrifying feeling, you know, like, because at this point, every album has to be better than the next, or it could be a career stopper, you know?
Yeah.
And then the age is creeping up, and you know, it's you know, all I want to do now is just make a killer album that's better than Revelations. So
Revelations was amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
It's just the sound quality and just the riffage. Holy smokes, man!
Yeah, it took me like 25 band members say to.
Your guitar player,
Danielle Gonzalez,
Danielle and
Claudius Kramer.
Claudius, he's amazing.
Yeah, they are amazing.
Yeah,
I got lucky.
You got a great band behind you, man.
Yeah, I mean, I kept cycling through, and because, you know, I wanted. That's why we played, you know, 13 years before the album. So I wanted to be like the real Possessed. You know, I didn't want to be. I didn't just want to, like, you know, the name and put something out that wasn't Possessed. And whenever Dan came, it was weird because I was Facebook or MySpace friends, or Facebook, I think, maybe MySpace. With his girlfriend at the time, Lindsay and Trimble. And she said, you know, like, I was kind of just commiserating with her, like saying, I can't find a decent guitarist, you know, people are either a prima donna, they don't want to work, or they don't sound right, they can't play our brand. And because, you know, and she's like, my boyfriend's a good man, he'd blow you away, you should really try him out. I remember thinking, yeah, how many times have I heard this, right? And so she's like, no, really, just try him out. And because I reluctantly tried him out because I was friends with Lindsay, so I, you know, bought his ticket out. We practiced in Milo's garage, and he came down and he just played 8 songs better than anybody I'd ever played with in my life. And so, like, I just kept my composure, like that shit happens every day. And, like, you know, just acted like a boss. And I played it off. He bought it, and I got him in there, and it was great, you know.
Yeah, that's
same
cool.
with Claudius. You can't just be like, oh, holy shit, you're the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
Then, you know, then
he's like, yes,
they're like, oh yeah.
All
right, you need me.
There's a lot of work. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you're not working, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you do have an excellent band backing you, man. And I always praise Emilio, because that dude's just a maniac. He blows me away with his drumming skills, man.
El Sadistico, yeah, he's
El Sadistico.
He's got that old school vibe, like, but he can play like new school, and we're slowly creeping up. Like, I know with Rue, I stayed in my lane and I stepped outside a little bit on the commercial viable. Like, we went like 50% analog, 50% digital, and we stayed in our lane but stepped out a little bit, kind of modernized it, put some hooks in there, because you know, you don't want to I wanted to make it a little broader audience. But this next album, you know, I keep saying I'm gonna like go one direction, but then we end up going another direction, and it's really organic the way we work. Like, you never know what's gonna happen. But I know the main complaint about Aru was it's too long and it's too technical. There's no fun songs. So the first thing I did is wrote a 10-minute song.
You're like, oh yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna write what I want.
Yeah. Well, it was good. I mean, so So the first song, you know, I wrote every riff but the 2 fast bridges, and it's really weird. It's completely different, you know. So I don't know if it's good different or bad different. So,
well, it's organic and it comes naturally, and it's good, right? It's not forced.
I mean, it isn't forced. I mean, like, you know, what I do is I just write a riff. And then I kind of like organize them, like this will go with this, this will go with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I send them out in packets to Dan, like groups of 3 or 4 to 8 riffs, and I'd send them out in little clumps. Sorry, and Dan will like, Dan's like a master of the mix. He's like, he went to college to be a producer and an engineer. And I keep rubbing my hands. Sorry, does that bug me? I was like,
No.
oh shit, I do that all the time, man. And it's like, and then I do a cameo or whatever. I'm like, fuck, I keep rubbing my hands.
That's all good, man.
I don't know why I do that. And so watch on the playback, it's gonna be like this the whole fucking time.
It's okay. We can kind of mute it if we need to, but don't bother us.
No, there's no pressure. We're just hanging
Rub your hands
out.
all you want, man.
That's right.
You're like, yeah,
Your body taking over the world subconsciously. But okay, on that note, I feel like as a fan, as a Possessed fan, you never skipped a beat. From the second record to the third record is like, that's the same band, even though it took that many years. Like, fuck yes. Like we were just waiting for that third record and it came out and it did not disappoint. No. So as a fan, I was just like, fuck yeah.
Well, thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that means the world. Yeah, it means the world to me. That's literally why we play, is to make people, as corny as it sounds, the ultimate objective is to entertain. Entertain. At the end of the day, we're entertaining. So.
Yeah, exactly. How was that Nuclear Blast? Are they good to work with? They supportive?
They are really supportive.
Awesome.
They're great. They're great. I don't know. I'm lagging though. I mean, I'm 2 years behind schedule on this album, and because of COVID and like the COVID just like shit on all my plans. Like we were literally about to go on tour, and we had to cancel the Possessed Pestilence. Black Mariah.
I love them. Black Mariah. I saw them. I think it was at Phil's Housecore Festival that he had here in San Antonio, and they were playing one of the smaller venues because there were several different venues that all the bands were playing because there's so many. And I just stumbled into the show. I think it was at that Housecore thing, and I was like, this band fucking shreds. And this was maybe 2015 or 2016 or something like that. And I bought the record and I played it for a very close friend of mine. He's like, what is this? We were just talking, and I'm like, Black Mariah, dude. I saw them and bought the record. They're so good. He's like, I'm buying this immediately. Cool. Yeah, he went on his phone and bought the record immediately on Discogs. And he heard it. So
American Black Metal it's a hard sell, but if you're really good, you can do it.
Yeah. I remember that tour was supposed to come through here, and I was stoked.
Yeah.
I remember we were in touch. I'm like, dude, you gotta check you out. I'm so excited. Possessed finally.
I was excited too.
Yeah, and then it was canceled. I'm like, fuck, and then everything was canceled. Like, what?
Yeah.
God damn
it. We're almost homeless, and
I had to eat all that merch.
Oh,
I ate all that merch. Like it was like, I don't know, like $7,000 worth of merch.
Dude, we'll buy some shit. We'll buy it all, man.
I'm starting a merch company. Well, it's actually running. I only have a few things, but my house is getting so cluttered with shit. I'm like a freaking hoarder, man. It's like stacked everywhere. So I'm just gonna like get rid of it. I don't need 30 copies of Eyes of Horror in every different color. So
we do.
So I'm not gonna I mean, if you think about it, I'm not gonna be here forever, and it's just probably just gonna go to pot. I might as well get it to get home. So, but anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, before I forget, what else got canceled was when we were recording Rue. We have, of course, Peter Tackman from Sweden. That guy's a trip. Have you ever tripped off him?
No.
He owns the town in Sweden that his house is in, with $1 million studio.
Whoa.
Dude's like ragingly successful, like the epitome of death metal, like success.
Really?
Yeah, because with death metal, you can't just do one thing. You have to do like 50 things.
Right.
But he's got like all the albums. He's doing the producing thing. Got $1 million studio. So what happened was, I put together a list because I was still fresh back to the scene. I literally Googled top 10 best death metal producers, and I put together this ridiculous list. I gave it to Gerardo Martinez from. He goes, "We can have all these but 2." I was like, really? So we went back at a band meeting. We said, let's get Peter because he's been a possessed band since he's a teenager. It's going to be really organic. And so we got Peter, but I guess Peter's friends with Peter Stormare, the actor from Constantine. Remember he played Lucifer in Constantine? Yeah. And so I was there, I was doing Abandon, and I see this guy, he's laid back in sunglasses and flip-flops. And I was like, that guy looks really familiar. Yeah, cool. And then everybody was like ignoring me. I'm like, hey, like, who am I here? I'm just sitting and everybody's evacuated. I was like, who the fuck was that? Why aren't we doing this? That was Peter Stormare. It's like, oh shit, because that's like me and my kids, like when they were little babies, they're like, just fast forward, let's watch Constantine, fast forward to the Lucifer part, when they're babies. So it's like me and my kid's favorite actor. Yeah. And so I met him, and he starts telling me my life story. He knows my life story. And I'm like,
no shit.
Like, this is weird. Like, so are you pitching me a deal? He's like, yeah, let's make a movie 50-50, and put his hand out. I shook it. The next day he's in there with the crew filming the rest of Abandon. What? So he followed me around with cameras. We go shows that we hooked GoPros and cameras up to my wheelchair at the whiskey. It was great, man. Like, we did like a 6-hour interview, but like it got too dark. Like, so we got to go back. And, like, my life has been a lot of dark. Like, I'm writing a book too, and it's dark. I mean, like you read the Heroin Diaries, and like that's dark, and you realize that was only a year of his life. I'm like, that's just like lunch to me. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. That's a great book, though, by the way. But yeah, and so we're gonna go back and redo it. It might be Hess too. I was like, we need a happy ending. I keep waiting for the happy ending. Yeah. But then COVID hit. Yeah. They put our Swedish producer back to Sweden. It stalled everything. But so far it's looking real cool, And then I was able to parlay that into the Graven video. I hate to be that guy, but at the rap party, I'm like, hey, could you, how much would it cost to get a non-SAG, 45 minutes of your time? And Peter's like, not non-Screen Actors Guild, non-union. He's like, your money's no good here. He was super cool about it. So we went and shot it in Hollywood. And then, so he was in the Graven video. I was able to take I had $8,000 budget. I was supposed to get like 2 videos out of it, but I just put it all into that one. And I was able to get the video company to pitch in $4,000 for, because Peter, it's a big boon, a feather in their cap to say, we work with, famous actor Peter Stormare. So it's able to turn the 8 to 12, and then get the CGI rain. It's not really raining there. That's CGI.
A CGI?
Wow. Yeah. And then that's just expensive.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So I got the rain. I got the church. And then I was able to talk some extras from The Walking Dead, because it's right down the street in Atlanta where we did the church scene. So we got the extras from The Walking Dead. Nice. We got the father from that played in the Manson Hulu series. And it was cool, man. It was really organic. I was able to kind of roll that over and make that cool video.
Yeah, that video is like it's a very small little movie.
Mini movie.
It's a mini movie.
Awesome. Yeah.
Like Street Peter is he just portrays this totally dark, evil motherfucker, man. He's so good at it too.
The original treatment, I wrote the original treatment, it was super dark. Like, the concept is, the whole concept of Revelations of Oblivion is, what would the world look like devoid of Christianity, right? Would it be an innately good place or an innately weird place? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so of course you're going to spin it weird because, I'm possessed, but I can even make the Bible weird, but now Revelations is weird as shit. I mean, there's a drag, John's vision, the dragon sweep with his tail sweeping a third of the stars to the earth, and the dragons, the beast of Revelations, which I have on my arm. It's got ram's sheep's horns, but speaks like a dragon, and everybody bows down and worships to the beast, and the beast is doing these revelations, these great prophecies, and the second beast comes out of the sea. And they're worshiping these beasts because they have great power over the dragon, and it's so bizarre. It's like a huge, like, weird dream, of a, so I've really kind of mixed, Edgar Allan Poe, the Bible, and just my weird little self all in there. And that's just my thing. It's my purview, is singing about sin as not a metaphor, but how it looks. But sin is a very human thing.
Yeah.
You don't need Satan. Just, my idea of sin is when people do things that hurt themselves. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So, and I don't think that I think slowly but surely that revelation is kind of coming around with our audience, is that, as cool as Satan is, it's not very cool to, like, hurt yourself. So,
yeah.
And so, I mean, you could say that it's not like a message of love, but it's like, like when you hurt yourself, you're hurting yourself. It's not a cool thing to do. And so I sing about, hell in the abstract, kind of supernatural, biblical way, and what it looks like in my mind when you go crazy from, a catastrophic injury that leads to a complete and psychological snap,
Yeah.
and you use all that stuff and you just put it in there. And I put all kinds of parables, and dual entendres, and secret hidden messages, and I just love it, man. I love being possessed. It's like, it's the greatest thing. I love it.
Yeah, and it's great that you're still out and you're still doing it.
And you still love it, and we still want more.
You still have the passion for it, and Possess is just going to be around forever. You guys, you guys are the death metal. And people talk about.
I don't want to be forgotten.
No,
you will never be.
Never. That'd be very hard to do.
Well, people don't even remember Elvis anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so fleeting.
It's really weird. Well, I'll tattoo people, and this is the first maybe 5 years of my life. I'm like, man, I'm starting to feel old because I tattoo these 18-year-old kids. I'm gonna be 35. I've been tattooing for 15 years, but I'm like, man, 18. I'm like, so what do you want to listen to when you get tattooed? Maybe like some Led Zeppelin or something. They're like, what's that? I'm like, Led Zeppelin. I'm thinking I'm coming up with something that's kind of like mellow, because most people are like, I don't want to listen to metal or whatever. I'll put on Possess. Fuck you. You will listen to this. No, but I try to let people pick. And they don't know anything. They know nothing. They're just, I don't really listen to music. I'm just on my phone. Like, well, you can't be on your phone while you're getting tattooed. So go ahead and go put that on the table. And now we're going to listen to Led Zeppelin.
Well, that's great.
Or Black Sabbath,
I love that feeling when you get to DJ. I do a, shameless plug coming up right now. I do a guest DJ spot on Give Me Metal. And I love that feeling, like when you have the captive audience, kind of, and isn't it weird that we all do this? Like, oh, I got a song for you. They're like, what is it? Oh, just wait. Like, you won't reveal until the needle hits the record.
Yes.
Why do we do that? Why do we do that?
I'll be like blocking it from Johnny looking. I'm like, no. This is
what are you holding there?
Yeah.
Oh, just my copy.
Yeah.
OG
my
copy.
OG copy since I was a young girl here.
Wait, what does that circle say?
So this says new monster LP from Possessed Beyond the Gates.
Yeah, the height of the
I told him the hype sticker. I told Johnny, it's got the hype sticker, babe. This is a very important record to me.
We tried just removing the cross because they pulled all our albums from like Musicland, everything. They jerked them all. That was with the PMRC and the height of the Satanic Panic. They literally would get it behind like dope or something, behind the counter. You'd have to ask for it. They'd give it to you in a paper bag. And that's how we had to sell that album. And so when Beyond the Gates came, but usually it had the logo, but the logo didn't have the cross in it. It was still too satanic. So they just took the logo off and put that sticker on.
Took the cross off.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So question. I've always noticed that I draw, of course, and I always noticed that the black on here, you can tell it's hand drawn. It's not, obviously there was not really much digital art back then, but I'm like, man, this is one of my favorite logos of all time. And logos are really difficult. All the S's are identical, all the E's are the same, but who drew it? Who came up with the original logo?
Well, I own the trademark. That's my own font. So
that's what I figured.
That's Possessed font.
That's what I figured. Awesome.
I love that.
Awesome.
I love that lettering, and that album cover is just black.
Check it out real close, Johnny.
The black with the cross. And
But what would happen was we had the original logo, and a girlfriend platonically named Carrie Lewis in high school drew the original one with 2 upside down crosses and it had that Puff the Magic Dragon, and she drew the other one. And then when we came time to do this one, I talked to my friend, oh my gosh, I forget his name, Vince Stevenson, and he hid his girlfriend Kyoko in there. There's hidden things in the flames. It says Kyoko. There's a demon, a little monster in the flames. Yeah. And so I said, I want this, but I want it to be more gothic and bolder and uniform. So he did that one, and then it got revamped again by the combat artist. I forget who it is, but it's on the. But then I immediately trademarked everything. One thing about Gene Simmons is he taught us very early that branding was important, and so that was the whole. Possessed as a death metal band. We were calling ourselves death metal and selling ourselves as a death metal band. We made the death metal, but it wouldn't fly. Like, it wasn't cool. Back then it was just so noisy. Awesome. People would just like roll their eyes and turn their backs and giggle, and like they would say like, I can't even understand what you're saying. It's so stupid, And it was like we took a lot of shit before death metal was cool, but I was just like, to me, it was like, that was it. We were selling ourselves as a death metal band, and that was what we went with. And to this day, it's like both a blessing and a curse, because it's highly debated and contested. And we literally, after I got shot, certain revisionists tried to blot me out of history. They literally, the Possessed Wiki is the most vandalized page on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Because,
I noticed that.
So, because there was a certain person, but he recently passed away, that was just relentlessly retitling our YouTube, moving our dates forward, like messing with the timeline, because and it was like a battle. When I left, we were the death metal guys. When I came back, it was no more. So I was like, I had to like fight for my own history back, which was weird, because there's no cool way to do that, because it sounds like you're tooting your own horn. But all I want, I'm not saying I created death metal. I'm saying Possessed was the first death metal band. And that's just it's a bone of contention with many death fans. And because of the way that their management spun it, and the way that the magazine spun it. Remember, me and Chuck were friends. Like, he literally was like my protege. He moved out to Antioch to be he lived at the Possessed fan clubhouse. He was pen paling for a while and tape trading, and he very much modeled himself after me. And I remember, or after Possessed, I remember the precursors of Scream Bloody Gore. We were at the Crystal's house, and Chuck was very excited and very keen to. I was so honored because remember, I'm just a young teenager, and he was the first person to really get what we were doing, what I was doing, and he was the first person that really understood what it was about, and he was so smart that way because it was undefined, and so hard to explain what it is, without putting rules on it, because the last thing you want to do is put rules on anything and stifle it. But he would just grasp it. He loved it. He said, listen, Jeff, listen, I sound just like you. He's like, and he was proud of that. And I was proud of him. And, there was like a bromance going there, and it was like, respect. It was a respect, man. And I'm from the old school, like everybody, like I've never been jealous of another band. I've never claimed anything that wasn't mine. And it's just so obscure to see people trying to claim what they know. They won't do it in front of me, but they know what they didn't do. I was fucking there, and so, and I'm not hating on anybody. I mean, but it's a very coveted position, which is funny because there's nothing but pain and torture there. It's like it holds you back in a way, And what makes me mad is like when the magazines spin this death or possessed, death versus possessed. And it kind of like, it even tainted the relationship between death and possessed. And that pisses me off because, we were friends. And I don't like, okay, I realize that metal's supposed to be fun. But there's also something very valid about true history and not revising stuff, not just with Possessed, but any band, right?
Yeah.
And the way it's spun is like bands will exaggerate what they did. The writers will be eager to impress who they're writing about.
Yeah.
And because the last thing a writer wants is for the band to go, well, this is fucking fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but there's, in the old days, well, it was very truthful, a lot of truthful, like people did their research. They didn't have clickbait. There was no possessed versus death, right? I hate that shit because if Chuck was alive today, I'd like to think we'd be touring and collaborate, you know? So,
Yeah.
and I don't like it fucking with my remembrance of what it really was. I like the history. Maybe I'm being weird about it, but I think that the truth is so much better than the tale. You know?
Yeah, the made up embellished stories that.
And then
how it
people
should
just
be.
see that as fact when it's not, you know?
Yeah, people will literally believe everything they read.
Yeah, that's Britt and I talk about that all the time. Like people believe anything they read, but we're also at a point in life right now, in stage in this world, that people don't believe anything either. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
They don't believe the facts, and you point them out to them, and you're like, dude,
you believe everything, but then you don't believe anything. It's like what?
Yeah, there's no trust.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help that they pass that law that says that the news no longer has to be true. It's for entertainment purposes.
I didn't even know that.
That was years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why you never see retraction. Remember, people used to lose their fucking career at the Times because they had to retract the story. That shit doesn't happen.
No, they
don't. It's all about sales.
Yeah, they just bury it. It's still there, but they don't retract. They don't correct it. They just leave it. You know.
I like journalistic responsibility. I like the true history of Kiss or Led Zeppelin or but now we live in this fucking cancel culture where like people don't understand, like it's not okay to grow anymore. It's like if you were this way, I'm just waiting to get canceled. Like I get death threats all the time. People like these, a lot of these hyper Calvinistic fundamentalists, they just don't like Possessed. I'm like, are you even reading the lyrics?
Yeah.
Just read the lyrics.
What gives with that? I mean, like literally like threaten you?
Oh yeah. I have to beef up security all the time. Yeah, I've been shot at. I've been shot at in LA. Yeah.
No shit.
Where is my sign from the water boy that says "Want me to kill them" when I need it?
those like those hyper Calvinistic. They'll like pick it like Dio's funeral or just no taste. And it's weird because there's this knee-jerk philosophy now that is so crazy. Like, and I feel like we're getting played. It's one side against the other.
Yeah.
Everybody's on script. Everything's just, I'm sticking to the script. It's like this huge satanic prayer. It's like people will sit there and hate Trump or just like, or hate Biden or hate whatever. And they'll stare at the TV all day. Just like if they just hate enough, it'll change something.
Right.
It's like a satanic prayer,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like if there's a pothole in the street, don't hate Trump. Fucking go to the city council or do it at a grass. You can't blame everybody for everything. And it's just funny. It's funny. If first of all, if you think that a president's going to fix everything, then you don't know politics. But like I say, that's neither here or there. What I'm saying is that people like hate is just not working for me anymore.
It's
People
not
gotta
worth it.
lighten up. Yeah, it isn't.
It steals your energy. It just makes you like, it ruins your day. Yeah,
it does. I literally don't even watch TV anymore. Like I don't. I'm like if I want to relax, I watch stupid ass YouTube, just really dumb shit, and I just I don't even want to think. Because especially during the writing process, because I'm pretty method. So I will be so involved in it. I'll just be like, fuck, how'd I get here?
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like just seeing pictures in your mind and, and so, but yeah, I just think that as corny as it sounds, it's like, if we could just learn to have the politics used to be a rational discourse among two opposing sides to come to a common understanding. And whether you agree or bargain till impasse or whatever, it's good to walk away with a firm understanding of the point and counterpoint in each other's where each other's coming from. But when they're just like, shut up, I'm not going to listen, then that's the end of discourse. I mean, that's the death of everything.
Yeah. When only one opinion is valid and yours is like, no, you don't think like me. So, then you have no right to speak.
Well, and everyone thinks they're like they're right. Like my answer is the answer. It's like, dude, why don't you just stop and listen to this person, and maybe you might learn something, or maybe they might change your mind, or just make you see things in a different light, or make you realize that it's not really all that fun to put all your energy and hate into hating this person. It's just
and there's an even sadder layer to it that makes me feel kind of like I'm in mourning, is that people want an answer so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like some people come from a place that's very bad, but most people, they just want to understand, and they want to have an answer. And that goes back to journalistic integrity. Again, when everything is false and fake, then it leaves people just in the wind searching for answers. And I kind of think that's intentional. I kind of think that we're all shut inside like siege warfare because, they don't want us grouping up. They don't want us to realize that we're the millions and they're the few, Yeah. And I had a Dr. James Duvall took a class in junior college called human anthropology. And he said, because he was in intelligence, First Navy, and he alluded to the fact that possibly CIA, but he said it without saying it. And a very intelligent guy. He said that they spend millions of dollars in think tanks on getting posts to keep everybody at odds because they don't want us coming together. They don't want us. And so, and as conspiracy theory as that sounds, I mean, there ain't nothing to it.
Yeah,
it's just the truth.
It's truth.
And if you think it's beneath, the powers that be, it's not. I mean, it does game played since the beginning.
Yeah, you keep people divided, and keep them in their own groups and their own classes, and then you got division. You got fighting amongst each other because
manufactured culture.
Yeah, exactly, manufactured it. When they realize like people have more things in common than they don't. You know what I mean?
And that's why we're fucking metalheads.
Yeah,
because metalheads don't care what color or anything.
And they're universal too. I mean, you go to Greece. It's like 1983 there. They're wearing the Reeboks with the tongues out, the skinny jeans that you sewed the semen, the flipped up like suicidal packs. I'm like, holy shit, this place rocks. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. Yeah, because when you're at metal, it's it's so healthy. It's like, that's why I don't understand why, people will hate me. Like, or hate Slayer, or, they've tried to cancel Slayer a few times, And what the fuck is that? Like, come on, man. Why so serious?
Yeah, exactly.
If they only knew.
Exactly. Yeah. This is crazy world. People are just, I don't know.
People have lost their minds. The internet has made people so crazy. I've never watched TV really, and I'm kind of crappy at social media. I have to use it for my business and stuff, but Johnny knows I'm always using my hands. I'm always making something, tattooing, drawing,
creative,
super artistic. Yeah.
I'm ADD too. Thank you for that. That means so much to me, but I can't sit still. Johnny will be like, babe, let's watch a movie. And I'll be up 5 minutes later, dude. And I'm like, fuck. He's like, I thought we were watching this movie. I'm like, oh shit, I'm making a smoothie. Like my mind just in 1,000 places, or I'm thinking of the next table I can make, or oh man, maybe this poster will fit on this table, and I'll get up and then I get distracted. I'm like, fuck, we were watching a movie. I'm so sorry. I'll sit down. But
I'm the same way. Or I get like hyper focused.
Yes.
Like, I will just like play bass for like 17 hours. You know what I mean? And just like trying to get this riff down. I just can't get it right. Like, or like I grab a doorknob and I have to grab it again. And then like, or like you really want to form attachments sometimes, but I'm afraid of forming attachments. There's so many things, but I don't see it is broken. I think everybody's kind of wonderfully unique in their own way. We're all like, and not at the risk of sounding soft, I think everybody's beautiful in their own unique way. I don't think anybody's broken. I don't think anybody, like, I'm not a big fan of like psychology and shit like that. I'm just like, I like people to be different. If we were all the same, what a boring world. Yeah.
What's that?
But we are this. But we are the same, but we're not. Like I was going to say, I've been to 5 of the continents. And people want the same stuff. They want a roof over their head. They want to take care of their families. They want to be happy and healthy,
And eat good food.
and eat good food, and enjoy it, and so like there's just not a lot of time for that all that hatred nonsense because life is too short, and life is like a roll of toilet paper, which is hard to get. It's the closer you get to the end, the faster it goes.
Yeah.
Hey, that's so genius. I never thought of that. We were just talking about, like, man, like you said, there's not enough hours in the day, and the older you get, the life just goes so fast. Since we got together, I won't name any names, but we've had like all this hate towards us, and people just trying to like destroy us, and like people talking shit, or someone wrote a comment on Johnny's page. Oh, just some dumbass tattoo artist that won the groupie lottery, and just like, why would people say that about me? And just crazy stuff, Like,
there is a hardcore misogyny with maybe I would say 3 to 5% of metalheads, usually young teenage kids, and they just fucking hate beautiful women because they're fucking virgins. Yeah. They just don't understand women. They don't want to. Have you seen these pseudo gurus that teach men how to like train their women and shit? And it's just so vile, man. What? It's like, yeah, it's fucked, man.
Who's doing the training, men or women?
The men are superior, and women are there to cook and clean, barefoot, pregnant, serve them. It's like some sort of like draconian, it's really popular right now with these fake gurus, I forget their name. I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, but that exists in metal too. And I talk about it on my live stream. Mm-hmm. Like that shit is not necessary, man. Like that shit irks me, man. Like the metalhead, in my mind, like especially with death metal and even thrash, like that shit is like church. It's sacred. Like there's rules that you got to follow here. Like, you can't be a fucking asshole, And don't they have a sister or a mom or a brother or something? Like I got a daughter. Like fuck all that. Like I also got a shotgun. No, but
exactly.
It's just weird. Like these fake gurus. Look up fake gurus on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll definitely check that out because I haven't heard that before. Fake gurus.
Some guys are like, oh, if you give me $100,000, I'll turn it to $200,000 in gambling every time. Or if a woman like snaps back at you, especially if she makes more money, first of all, you got to take care of number one, because if you don't make as much money, you got to like power play so that she's like subservient, even though she's like the one that you're like getting it's like this usury type thing. Wow. And you're like, what the fuck?
People like that really exist.
I can't even comprehend that. That's just it's weird.
I'm so glad you're a good human, Johnny.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying to cancel you guys is just absurd.
It's just the weirdest shit. And a couple of the people we know, and then a couple of people don't know us, so that write all this crazy stuff. But I try to not let it bother me. Sometimes I do, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Why would someone say this about me? But you just can't let it affect you,
This might seem weird, but it's social media, and you're on my feed. But every time I see you guys, I go, man, I wish I had that. That is so awesome.
Aww, we love you.
You guys are fun. I love you guys too.
Thank you.
I really do. I love seeing you guys. You guys are like symbiotic. In my world, you guys are like the perfect couple. You guys are handsome. You're perfect. You're artistic. You stand for your values, and You're no bullshit.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate
awesome.
that. It's very nice.
And that bullshit and that hate, it kind of like only brought us closer, because there were some people like in our circle that were just like talking all the shit, and it's just like people like, oh, fucking groupie, and I'm like, what? He contacted me to tattoo him. That's what I do for a living. How am I a groupie? And then I tattooed him, and fuck you, man.
Yeah. Block and move on.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you say, it's a business site. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Is it true that you thought about being a priest?
Yeah, I mean, when I was young, I very much was considering the seminary.
Really? Wow, interesting.
Yeah. I was a very hardcore Catholic. We went to church. I remember I was a kid too. And then, of course, when puberty hit, I had a drive to have a family, and so that was the end of that. A family. Even though I didn't have a family until way long later, I liked girls too much, and that was that. But I have a profound respect for Catholicism. I think I'm also kind of a reformist, and so I think there's a lot of things that are broken And but you know, I came to a spiritual revelations because one time a girlfriend of mine, I won't say her name, but she was getting her doctorate in non-denominational Christianity, and she said, you know, well, I can't date you anymore because and this is like my first kiss, my first fool around everything, because now I'm a bride of Christ. And I remember thinking, like, why don't you just be a nun? Like, you don't even do mass in Latin. You know, you don't take the host, you don't have communion, you're all going to hell. And I caught myself. I was like, wait, what about all the people that aren't Catholic? Yeah. And then I was like, man, did I get brainwashed? So I unbrainwashed myself, completely lost my faith. And that is the most scariest feeling in the world. And then from that day on, it's been like a kind of a spiritual crisis, trying to find myself and keeping open-minded and realizing that it's very easy that if you don't sit down and tell yourself who you are as a person, and then people will tell you what you are and you'll believe them. You know, people say, Jeff, you're a father, you're this, you're a death metal guy, and you'll believe that because that's how it is. But I think it's good to appreciate, you know, everybody and everything. And, you know, there's good people and bad people. And of course, we're all going to make those safety kind of judgments. But I just, I don't think there's anything wrong per se, but I don't think that it makes a lot of sense to say, don't think. You have to have faith. You can't think. To put those kind of spiritual shackles on people. Yeah. Because it's like they're afraid for people to find their own God, you know? Yeah. But I also think there's something profoundly comforting when you just know there's a God. Because when you lose that, you're like, shit. And then, of course, I went the polar opposite, just like hail Satan. Yeah. And, you know, and so I don't think that, I think that if there's a God, he's not some like pussy that's easily offended. I think that is actually would be really intelligent. So.
Since we're on religion, I like to think of God as a whole, and like not like as an individual sitting up in the sky somewhere, going, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna burn this guy. This guy's, you know, this guy's mean." But
like on an ant farm.
Yeah.
Some jealous psychopath just ridiculous.
I hope not.
But yeah, I like to think that it's more like a whole, just like an energy, you know, like just everything. Everything's connected, and that's.
I'd like to think that it's so profoundly genius that there's no way that a human could understand it. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's the way, like how the body works, how things work. It's like was this created? Or is this a natural evolution? I mean, are we just like sitting in a petri dish somewhere in someone's lab? You know, it's
under God's fingernail.
Yeah, he's like.
Well, I look at like the Fibonacci sequence, you know, or the pattern. Are you familiar with the patterns? They're in the pine cones, they're in leaves, they're in rock strata. It's like it's just everywhere, and you're like, you know, like I know that like scientists will like argue against intelligent design, but I think if you just look at like a piece of fruit that's hella good. You're like, man, this can't be an accident, right?
Yeah, no, truly. There was a plant at Johnny's at Marcy's house. Good. Yeah.
Who made this?
I remember seeing this cactus at Marcy's house. I could not stop looking at it. And I was outside and I was like, what the fuck? Is that real? And you're like, oh yeah, mom had these cactus, you know? Mrs. Araya. I'm looking at Mrs. Araya's fucking cactus. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And it was just so geometrically perfect. I thought it was fake. I could not wrap my mind around how beautiful it was. It was incredible.
Well, you know, they've disproven evolution so many times. Like, because evolution is supposed to be like one random or one mutation that's beneficial for the species at a time, and the others die out. But there's these bugs, I forget the name of them, and they have a split abdomen. They have two chemicals in each side of the abdomen, and when they get like in fear, they come out together, they mix together, and it makes like a mace, right? Now, either one of these chemicals would be lethal to the insect alone, so they have to mix. So how is that one random mutation? Those two separate chemical that are very different. Yeah. Or like look at a giraffe. Like you think, you know, it's got the long neck. I'm like a stoner now. It's got the long neck. You think it would get a drink of water, it would have a head rush, fall over, a lion would eat it. But they have 5 stop gaps in their neck that regulate the flow. And they also have a sponge in the back of their cranium that soaks up blood so it doesn't rush to their head. And they all work in unison. That is not one random mutation. That disproves evolution right there. So there's so many instances though.
Evolution disproven by Jeff
Becerra. You know what? I always think about the jump from Neanderthal to modern man. There's that gap missing, and they cannot find that missing piece.
Yeah, and the great confabulation too. You know about that, right?
No.
Around the time of Noah, I think. There's a strata that is universal. It's around the entire globe, where something just wiped the entire geological history off the Earth. So it could have been the meteor. And scientists are wrong all the time. I remember when I was a kid, the Ice Age killed the dinosaur. Again, one day it was a fucking meteor.
Yeah.
Like they just, never mind, So, it's nothing's absolute.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Nothing's absolute. And just, and like, if we came from monkeys, why do we still have monkeys?
Also, hey, that's
I'm a monkey.
Yeah. Also, aliens, they're like, oh yeah, aliens don't exist. And now it's like, oh yeah, aliens are here. Oh yeah, look the other way. Here, look at this instead. Like, what the fucking aliens exist? Yeah.
Well, look at like the technology just jumps so fast, too. I think that the government keeps all that hardcore for the military and stuff. And then when it's obsolete to them, like probably 50 years in advance, they're like, okay, you guys can have that now.
Release the iPhone.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, you release the iPhone. Because I mean, that's like some Star Trek shit, man. I was born before the cell phone, before the CD, before the VHS, before the microwave. I remember when the microwave was made. Now I think that satellite radio is going to go obsolete. So you got to go to Give Me Metal. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right.
Okay, so if the two of you could go back in time and this is wonderful being able to video chat with you. This is some Austin Powers high-tech shit. If we could go back in time and just be strictly analog fucking metal shows with no cell phones, no trying to look through people to look through their phone and just records, would you do it without all the internet and technology?
I loved the early 80s thing.
I would.
Yeah, I would too. They said they were going to have a chip in the left hand or wrist, and that's it. It's the phone. That's the chip.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, you put that thing down.
Yeah,
jeez.
It's really.
But we need it. We need our cell phone.
Yeah.
We can't live without it. That's our brain now. Like a lot of kids. I caught my daughter looking at a Nizing, and she was trying to make a picture of it. I was like, Sonny, what? Oh.
I've caught myself doing that a few times. Like, it's just like, oh wait, it's a piece of paper. It's not gonna. I can't blow it up.
Yeah. And I used to read a lot more too. I still read. I got like so many books. I got like tons of books, but I remember I loved reading. I still read a lot, but I miss that. Because it's so hard to get off social media, and it's so important, but. That goes back again to journalistic integrity. I think that now it's so easy to mind wash people by algorithms, and everybody's being catered to and fed exactly what they want to know. And it's like a mind wash, man. I'm telling you, it's like they've pacified us through compliments.
Yeah, it's keeping people down. Keep people at a certain level. And so they don't.
It also disrupts your peace, I think, and like with our businesses, we have to engage with people and answer emails and do all this stuff and do shipping of our merchandise or whatever. But man, it'll stress you out for a minute. And then you're like, man, I gotta put this fucking thing down and go read a couple chapters of this book or meditate and just kind of zen out. Cause it really will it will affect my peace. Johnny stays a little more mellow, like whatever.
Yeah.
I let these people hit me. It's mentally taxing a bit.
It is, but luckily, I really love engaging with our supporters, and I'm so addicted to it.
It's awesome.
I guess because we were such an outcast, back in the day, that it was never about the money. The money never really entered my mind. Of course, it's nice or whatever, but it was always about that human. I'm kind of an existentialist by nature, I love people. Like I genuinely love people. So it's a great way to meet people. It's great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you got lots of fans, lots of people who love you, and
yeah, and I love them just as much, man.
That's great, man. So what do you think of death metal now? How do you think that the music?
I love it. I mean, I love it. I think
so much.
I think that it is comparable, and I'm kind of partial, but I think it's comparable to the golden age of jazz. Because if you're in the know and you're a musician who's awake and seeing what's going on, it is branching out in so many Osric tentacles. So we have modern death metal, we have the Floridian death metal, we have the all the Asians, you know, incantation, immolation, you know, all in the New York scene. In New York scene, we have Viking death metal, we have folk death metal. There's so many. I could go on and on. And there's so much to pull, and that's one of the things that both me and Chuck always preaches. Don't put it in a box, man, because if you make rules for death metal, then it will die. You want it to just keep growing and growing and become this wondrous like. I think it's just so exciting. There's so many different things going on in death metal right now. It's like it's awesome.
Is Melissa still one of your favorite albums?
Yeah. I think it's like a two-way tie between Sin After Sin and Melissa. So.
I was prepared.
How did you know? Those albums are
We
awesome.
love you, and this might be your third favorite.
Oh yeah, that's hard to say though. I mean, that's awesome. Those are the lexicon of my life right there. Oh,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I had to cherry pick my records for interview.
Yeah. Did you know that Simon Phillips? I think he was in his very early 20s. I think he was a session drummer. They practiced one day before they made that Sin After Sin. So it's a really organic kind of studio album where they're creating in the studio, I guess. But Simon Phillips literally practiced the day, went in and recorded that slow double bass. It's so good.
I didn't know that. He had one day of rehearsal with the guys and then went in and recorded.
So good. That album is great.
This is one of the first records I ever bought in my life. I think I've had this since I was with my own money. I think I was 13 when I bought this at Hog Wild Records, and it's
such a great album.
Original sticker inside. Yeah,
that's awesome. I missed my vinyls. Like, I used to have a good vinyl, but everything's digital now. It doesn't scratch, but that vinyl sound, you can't beat it, man. Can't beat it. I hated Melissa the first time I heard it. I didn't hate it. I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
But then I was really intrigued with the vocals, the guitar work, the drums, the bass. It's all so classy. Yeah. And then by the third listen, you're just hooked.
Yeah.
You know? And I think all the best sounds are like that. You don't get it right away, but then you kind of have to indoctrinate. I'm not talking about the albums where it's like a rite of passage to get through the noise. I'm talking about serious art. And I mean, it's just high art at its best. These people are master musicians.
Yeah, I'm it's a toss up for me between Melissa and Don't Break the Oath. They're just
I'm Melissa all day.
They're so good. I mean, I edge towards Melissa, but they're both
Curse of the Pharaohs, Johnny.
Just such great albums, you know.
Yeah, and just like the way he's this this Satan as the tragic anti-hero, you know, and you know. He's in front of the altar, you know, Satan's cross upon the wall, and it's just right there.
Satan's cross upon the wall. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
So good.
And they make Satan not into a bad thing, and a little less bad in the world. I mean, I don't see it as a bad thing.
Yeah, it's you even hear the theatrics before you know King Diamond has the theatrics and all the paint stuff. I heard it and was just like, this is fucking weird. And I played it again, and then Curse of Pharaoh. So I just would play over and over and over. Then Evil, and I would just keep looping these songs. I'm like, fuck yeah! And I started working at a bar when I was 18. It's called Dixie's Country Bar. And I just stumbled upon this place. They needed somebody, never bartender. They're like, hey, you need a job? Sure. So I start working. I was like, this jukebox has got to change. We can keep some of this classic country. I put Melissa in the jukebox. And I would just fucking constantly play Melissa start to finish. People are like, this is supposed to be a country bar. Bye. It's a fucking metal bar now.
It never gets old. Ever. It just keeps getting better. I mean, I want to get an album like that. I want, I want that classic, man. I want that that Sabbath. I want the Melissa. I want that album that just lasts forever, man. And it's like these kind of albums are a constant inspiration because it can be done. And I think that the theatrics were kind of a byproduct of the genius because they obviously put the music first and it just makes sense, like people say, well, why do you sing like that? Well, it makes sense. You can't sing about flowers, you know what I mean? But the fact that it's so romanticized, but not in a corny way, in just like a very, very tastefully, amazing way. And of course, Rob Alford is so good. That's awesome. I know that.
I love him. I'm the girl with the King Diamond tattoo now.
That's famous.
They're buddies now. Like she met King Diamond at a show,
at a dangerous meeting,
and he was like, "Oh!"
It was a Flotsam and Jetsam show, and I was fucking thrashing my brains out to Hammerhead because that's my favorite song. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" My friend did. We had just met Gary Holt at Gary's guitar clinic he had before.
It's so cool. Huh?
Yeah, it was before I met Johnny, and I was just like, "I can't believe we're meeting fucking Gary Holt." So, first of all, I'll tell you the quick story about that. And he's jamming, taking questions. I'm like, pick me, and he finally finally calls on me, and I'm like, can you teach me a lesson in violence I won't soon forget? And he was just like, sure, come on up. And I was like, oh fuck, the joke totally went over his head. So I walk up there and I'm like, hey, and he's like, riffing it out, and I was like, oh my god, this is my friend's like, what the fuck, bro? And so we finish, I meet him, I was like, this is amazing. He's like, Flotsam's playing, let's go to Flotsam. So we get to Flotsam, thrash into Hammerhead. In the middle of the song, an hour after meeting Gary Holt, King Diamond walks into the building. My friend goes, hey, Brittany, King Diamond's here. And I was like, dude, I'm fucking thrashing. Don't talk to me during the show. You know me. Like, I'm fucking banging my head. He's like, no, it's King Diamond. So I run over there. I see him. His security guard is kind of like stopping everybody from approaching him. But no, not a lot of people had noticed he walked in. It was a small club in Dallas called Trees. And so I pointed at my tattoo and I'm like, can I please meet him? Just softly. And he was like, oh yeah. So he grabs Kim and he sees my tattoo and he lights up, and it was so loud in there. I don't think we had any conversation. We were trying, but we couldn't, hear each other. And so I turned and I just smiled bigger than ever. That was the best fucking moment of my life. And I was like, thank you.
Awesome.
It was such an honor to meet you. And he goes, one more. And then he points at it and I'm like, in the photo, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe that that was just the most organic photo ever. It's my favorite picture.
I've never spoken to him, but I did have my King Diamond moment because when I first started live streaming, I had like an iPhone 7 or something, or 8. And because we were playing with them, God, where were we? Hellfest or somewhere, some big festival. I went into King Diamond's photo pit in my wheelchair, and I was filming him, and he was cheesing for the iPhone 7 or 8. Like, I was like, is this fucking real? Or what? He must have recognized me or something, because
so cool.
I think so.
It's weird because I never get recognized. I can go anywhere and it's crazy, right? Except for a show, of course. But I can roll around town or whatever. Nobody knows who I am. Mm-hmm. So, but when you go to a motor show, like I like kind of worm my way into different positions. Like I'm in the King Diamond's photo pit.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah, and then I was like, I wonder if he's thinking about me with the old lady comes out in a wheelchair. I was like,
silly. We saw him again one more time after that. That was right before I met Johnny, like a couple of months, or was it? Or maybe the year before I met you? I don't remember. I had met King Diamond and Gary like way before I had met John. And then, we actually had another dangerous meeting with.
Yeah, we went to go check out. We went to a Maiden show. A friend of mine was doing pyro for Maiden. So we went out to go check him out. And
Maiden's awesome.
Maiden's great. Man. It sounds so good. We went,
even though Bruce made the ultimate faux pas, in my opinion. But.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling Britt about that. She's like, did you really say that? I go, yeah, I think he did.
He did a whole series of press junkets. He said Metallica is music for housewives, and that thrash is just a passing phase. Kind of, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. I'm like, why would you say that? Like,
that's fucked up because those are all his fans,
Well, I think that he doesn't like punk because Paul Di'Anno was in the punk. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I have no idea. But I know I did party with Paul Di'Anno.
That's rad. But the first two Maiden albums are probably like my favorite. Paul Di'Anno is just so raw, punk rock, like you said.
Yeah, you can't not like Maiden. They're master musicians. There's no way to throw any shade on them.
Hey, King Diamond likes them. He was there.
it just being totally honest, it hurt my feelings. Yeah,
for sure.
So you're just like, wow, like that's really kind of tone deaf to say that, like he's at the pinnacle of success, and just saying, and then I started thinking like, well, Bruce the kind of guy to go up to a woman at a gym and say, "You're not doing it right." No.
Totally.
So I thought it was kind of just mean spirited, like just
for sure.
Wait, was he one of those fake gurus you were talking about?
No. But I do know that we all say shit. Like me, I should wear my mint flavored shoes like 3 days out of the week because I'm constantly putting my foot in my mouth. But and maybe it was tongue in cheek because a lot of times it doesn't translate well. And he's clever, and he's European, and the vocal inflections can mean anything. So but you see a lot of people. It used to be that musicians were uncancelable, but now like it's like, oh man. And let me tread lightly here. I think that did you see the whole Chris Barnes thing?
He mentioned something to me about it, and I was like,
I saw some quotes online, and I was like,
wait, what happened? Someone told me he was losing it. Someone was getting tattooed and was like, "Have you seen all this Chris Barnes drama?" And I was like, "No." And they're like, "Man, I think he's losing it."
Somebody said that he said that the state of death metal today. Same question you asked me.
Yeah.
And same answer I always give, but of course it changes because I change.
Yeah.
He said that I'm just paraphrasing what I heard through the grapevine. I didn't read the tweet or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess he said that death metal sucks. It makes him want to vomit.
Yeah. So, there was a what was that other one that
I don't know if he said that. That's what I heard.
I saw. Well, I mean, I guess you don't really know what's real these days. I mean, it was a clip, a screenshot of a tweet, I guess, and it said he was the best death metal vocalist ever.
Who says
that? Yeah, there's a lot of I almost made a joke when it went up where because everybody knows it's me. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
No, here's what I do. Sometimes I feel like I'm like
wrong.
making horrible noises over good music. I'm like, fuck, what am I doing?
No.
I'm just like yelling over it and shit, like fucking it up. But
that's
and
crazy.
then me and Larry used to go, can you believe we get paid for this? We're just like literally making a racket, But no, I think that everybody makes mistakes. I love George. George is such a gentle giant. He's so cool.
Such a kind human.
He's rad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never a bad word.
No.
And I feel a little bad that people are coming down, like everybody lets Bruce get away with it, and where's that kind of, but I don't know. I say that, I'm not going to like, I like him, Chris, because he did The Exorcist and I liked that, So, and then, but I like George because he did Confessions and it sounded a lot like me. And George told me personally, it's his favorite work that he's ever done. He's really proud of the vocals. He's such a nice guy, and so nice I just don't like shitting on other bands. I think it's a brotherhood, and I think that if somebody stumbles in the pit, you pick them up. And
that's right.
Yeah, you don't talk shit. You give them constructive criticism.
Yeah, there's so many memes going around. It's scary. Like, am I next? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is setting a dangerous precedent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
Wait. So Chris Barnes said death metal makes him want to vomit.
That's what I heard, but I went on his page. I don't know if he blocked me or what, because I reposted one of George's tweets, and I didn't mean it mean spirited. I was like, look, this is what's going on. Yeah. I wasn't one where like if I post something, it's not like I'll post something that says like no war, but I'm not saying the politics of it. I'm just saying like I hope an over war. Yeah. And I post a video of a dead person laying there after the bombing, and I'm not saying I don't really know what led up to that. I don't know what's going on, but this is happening, because but what I'm saying is that we all fuck up. Nobody's nervous, and I think that we should just not be mean. Well, I kind of like feed off the controversy now. Like okay, this is what I do. Like I get like a like. I'll go through my DMs and people will say something, and I'll add people, and then I'll go to their page and I'll click a like, and then I'll say, thank you for your support and being so awesome. It auto populates because it's so much. And then, but I mean it every time. But I do hundreds of them. Then somewhere I had a Belle Delphine, and I must have liked, or she liked me, or I liked her. And she's a cute chick. I don't know much about her, but since when did pretty women in heavy metal stop the relationship? I must have missed that. I'm like a dinosaur. But all these memes came out, Jeff Becerra. So I went and got together and collabed with one of the kind of meme station and put out a fake story that Jeff Becerra and Belle Delphine are going to shoot the first wheelchair porno. And then we put that out there. I got so many DMs like, where's the link? Where's the link?
OnlyFans. Get paid for that. No.
And I even had a script, like I'd be like, once you go handicapped, you never go back. Yeah. I'll put you in a wheelchair. No.
Dude, you need to make Valentine's cards.
Oh my God. And Jeff Becerra. Well, yeah, we're going to mock some up for you, man. Some Jeff Becerra Valentine cards.
It's a blue plate special, baby.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make you some Valentine's cards. Man, it's already been 2 hours. We could talk to you all day. You're so awesome.
Yeah,
sorry we're taking up so much of your time. This is fun.
I know. I didn't even realize. Well, we got when is it? We got coming up with Wasp, and what is it? November 20.
I can't wait.
Shit, the 24th. I think the Mexican Metal Fest.
It's November.
This will be our second foray there, and we're like right up at the top, man, right by Wasp, which I think is very fun. Who would have ever thought in a million years that band that played, those kids that played on a fucking piece of plywood, the first line of Paranoid over and over would be opening for Wasp? I think
that's awesome.
It never gets old. I mean, I call them RSS moments, rock star shit, like when the police escort in Paraguay, the riots, it's just, I just feel really honored, I can't believe, it's just, it never gets old. I love my life. It's good to be me. I love everybody. Awesome. I just want to play music.
Yeah. 30 plus years later, man, you're still out there playing and you still got fans who know
I still feel like I'm starting out. If I can just get over the surgery, I can get my life. If I can it's always brand new to me. It never gets old. It's the best, it's the hardest job you'll ever have.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Your longevity though. I mean, you're still out there doing this, it's a death metal, one of the the godfathers of death metal. You're still out doing it.
The godfather.
I'm like awe-stricken with you guys. You guys are like that you're on the tattoo. What is it? Ink Masters?
I was on a show
Best
it was called Best Ink.
But I saw part of that. You were like cute on that. You were like, you were the best person on there. And then, of
That's
course,
what I said.
Thanks, guys.
He's the funniest one on the show.
Man.
Your brother's fucking Tom Araya, dude. Like, it's fucking killer. And you're fucking awesome musician and yourself. And I have a sister,
That's I have 4 sisters. One passed, so.
Does there exist sibling rivalry?
Yeah, there's always there.
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's your brother, your sister, right?
Man, I was like your big sister to my little brother. Was just everything to me. I say my brother was killed last year. I don't know if you saw that on my.
I saw it. Got a piece of it. It was very tragic.
Very brutal. But my brother he meant so much to me since the day he was born. I was never like a bully or I was like, oh my God, what do you need to make music? Because he was a musician too. But I was like, what do you need? You need a new mic. You need this. And he's just like, oh, I don't want to trouble you for that. Like, it's okay, sis. I'm like, what do you need? You're a fucking star, man. I just believed in him. I just thought he was just the greatest gift of my life. He was awesome. I treated him like he was my own son.
It's so rough.
Awesome.
I can't even imagine. I'm sorry.
They're trying to. The cops seem awesome. His detectives. But he was murdered by one of his friends, and I've heard over a drug deal. I've heard at a party, and I've heard one person said he was playing
Russian. Was it a gun?
Roulette. Yeah, a gunshot wound to the head. So they're waiting on ballistics, and it's just like this fucked up, tragic, awful thing. Like, how did this happen? These were all his childhood friends he grew up with. Meth. That's how it happened. Like there's people on fucking drugs and doing God knows what. I get a call at 3 a.m. Johnny and I are fucking chilling, watching Forensic Files, and my little brother's mom. So I respect her. I'm like, what the fuck is she doing calling? This is not good. And she said, Brittany, Michael shot himself in the head. And then we found out he lived for 2 weeks. And then we found out that it was a homicide. It was not a suicide. So now it's full blown investigation. And it made me to where I was so grief stricken. I couldn't even tattoo for almost 6 months. We were almost homeless because we couldn't pay our fucking bills. You know, it's just like, what the fuck, man? Like,
I can't even imagine.
it's just
Yeah,
crazy,
it's
you know.
brutal.
But not to get on my my life story, which is another shit show. But
no, I feel like I should be interviewing you, honestly.
hey, no, we could go back and forth. But I like when you were talking about earlier, how you're like, fuck, man, that one tragedy is me going out to lunch. My life is similar in a lot of ways. You've had a lot more hardship.
Life can be so brutal and unfair.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Totally.
So unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, it's naive to think that life would be fair, but
Yeah.
man, like some shit should just never happen.
Truly.
yeah,
Truly.
yeah,
But
for sure.
we think you're fucking awesome. We're so glad we got to talk to you. I'm so
I
honored.
love you guys.
Thank
I'm glad that we're tight. I was so happy to see you. Remember, I forget what airport we were in. You're like, Jeff. I was like, John. So we have that picture. I have that on my phone. That's when you call it. I have that picture on the phone.
That picture is I mean, yeah, we were standing in line at the airport checking in, right? And I see a bunch of dudes, and wearing black. Like, oh, what band that is? Because we're in Europe in the summer. You're gonna see bands everywhere because all the bands tour out there in the summer, all the festivals. So I see Emilio. I'm like, oh shit, Emilio! And I went over there. It's like, what's up, man? He goes, hey, what's going on? We haven't seen him in years. Probably I think since the Marduk tour with us.
Oh, we have. I can tell you a funny ass story about that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So then he's like, hey, did you see Jeff? I'm like, no, he's up there checking in. I was walking, that's when I saw you. I'm like, oh shit. So I waited till you're done checking in and you pulled around, and I saw Jeff. I'm like, holy shit, what's happening? He's like, dude. And we just, it was awesome. And that's when he's like, we got to get a shot together. We got to get a picture together because
it's awesome. Yeah, it's classic.
We both had the biggest grins on our
I
face.
love that picture.
That's great. So wholesome.
I love it.
It's so rosy. We're so rosy.
You're both great guys. You're wonderful humans, both of you. And it shows through that photo. That's so cool.
A very pastoral existence. I spend a lot of time alone. I'm a loner by nature, but I love people.
Yeah, it gives you time to think, and you just
idle time is the best time for thinking.
Yeah, same here. And we can't wait for the next record, man.
Me too, man. I probably shouldn't call Dan out, but I'm like, damn, hurry up. He's like, this, that, and this. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, you're gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm like, man, come on. like what about me? No.
Oh, yeah.
Right, man.
Yeah, that's
I don't like these dual band. Well, of course, I love Matt Harvey and Gruesome. So but at first I was like, man, because I'm from the old school when you can't be in two bands, right?
Yeah.
But then I started collaborating and I could understand. So,
yeah.
I love Obituary. So,
yeah, we love them.
Gruesome is awesome.
Terry's new band and Human Condition are amazing too. We just saw them; they were ripping.
Who's a rad ass motherfucker is Steve DiGiorgio, man. That guy can play some fucking bass, man. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm like jealous in a good way. Like,
dude, he plays fucking death metal on the fucking on a fretless bass.
Yeah, almost as good as Kronos.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Kronos is all.
Kronos is a lot.
I remember me and Cliff Burton were watching Venom. We played Venom, Slayer, and Possessed at the Kabuki in San Francisco, and I was very keen to meet Kronos, and I went back there, and they had like a case of Jack Daniels, and he had about this much left in his bottle, right? Fucking hammered, and I poked my head in there, and I said, "Hey," I said, "My name's Jeff Becerra from the band Possessed. I just want to say, like, love you guys." He's like, "Who the fuck let you in our backstage, mate?" Like, barked at me. I was like,
what?
All right. Yeah, I was like, so I went to our room. I said, let's blow these motherfuckers away. They're fucked up. We're fucking on hit. We're not there. Nah. And then I went up. I was telling Cliff about it, and Cliff was like commiserating with my hurt feelings. And because I was a kid, but this was like the kickoff of the Slayer Possessed tour.
Yeah.
So, we did those two. It was fucking rad. It was like touring with Slayer was awesome. And so, so I was up there smoking a joint with Cliff, and I was like, fuck, what song are they playing? She's like, they're fucked up. And we were listening, and Cliff goes, I think it counts as bathroom because
Yeah.
well, can't be sure, but we loved them because we loved them because they were loud, they were devilish, and they were from Europe. We were in San Francisco, and that was one of their first times there, and it was just kind of cool to see. Like they were like just the penultimate, like crazy, like fucked up, wilding out rock stars. And they were huge, man. They made Guinness Book of World Records for the all-time highest independent selling albums. And so
I did not know
big,
that.
That Venom was huge. Fate would open for them gladly. It was 80.
It was 85.
I think it was 84, 85, April 85. And they immediately went back and wrote an album called Possessed.
Yes. I remember that. The two kids on the cover.
And he's got a red destroyer. What the fuck?
What the hell, man?
Yeah.
That tour we started, they started that.
What he was
dude,
doing.
I love that bass. That's amazing.
I didn't sell his bass for $1 million. Oops.
No way.
It's my cousin Danny made it from here. He also made Les Claypool's whammy bar bass. Oh no, I mean, for Primus, the whammy bar pachyderm, that my cousin made that one too. Yeah.
Oh, he did. Oh, wow.
The original one. Now it's a series, but this is a one-off. It's a one of one. The one with the whammy bar, that's a one of one.
Yeah.
My other one with the Tony Iommi upside down frets, the Freddie Cash, one of one. All my basses are one of one.
That's rad.
You cannot get them. So
that's awesome.
And they're fucking rad. Like the wood here, it's no laminate. It's all Eastern hard rock maple. I don't know why people laminate bass bodies because when you play them, like I'll play an Olympic and go, like I play like I can play some. This one is fucking. It's giant. It's a great bass. Man. It's like,
that's usually happens when they lacquer up instruments, like a lacquered up acoustic guitar.
Why do they do that? Yeah,
it deadens it. It kills it.
Yeah, I guess it's funny. It's easier to put a neck to the body, maybe, or it's easier to put together, but it ruins it. Like it ruins it. Like you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
My EMGs are prototypes. They're so new. They don't even say EMG on them. And of course, Leo Kwan, Badass Bass 2 Bridge. That's when they were first. That was when they revolutionized it because a destroyer. Let's face it, it's a precision bass. The way it's set up.
Yeah.
Well, like I put a solid bar in the back so that, like, what I used to do is switch the pickups around so that it would get as close to the bridge as possible with the one because they're staggered like this. So I'd stagger it, but they're usually like this. So the bridge is here, and I don't understand all this distance.
The space,
flip them around, and then we put 2 truss rods in it. I put Gibson Les Paul frets to make it nice and low. Real abalone, like all stars guitars, pots and pans. Like this bass is a fucking monster, dude. Like, I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Nice.
MSI.
What's
the
that?
best guitars in the world. MSI, the Maloney stringed instruments, are literally the best instruments in the world.
Is that a local Bay Area?
It's my cousin Danny Maloney.
That's so cool.
Whoa.
He's done work. He's made guitars for Satriani, for Metallica,
Really?
like Holdsworth, for Triumph. He was very much the go-to guy back in the 80s.
So
for Nelson Randy, of course.
How tight are you and Joe Satriani?
Well, you produced the EP.
Yeah.
He's just a serious ginseng, drinks coffee, straight work, very intelligent.
Yeah.
And really,
Smart
very
man.
pleasant guy to work with.
Yeah. Guy's a genius.
He said the magic word triumph. I love them.
I actually, on the Eyes of Horror, I was between David Lee Roth Band and Triumph, and they had killer microphones. So we very carefully, they weren't there. It was a weekend of tapes where the mics were and borrowed them and then put them right back in position. we did it at Fantasy Studios where they did the English Patient now. It's the tallest building in Berkeley. So that was when you would spend like $85K on a fucking EP. And it would sound like hell. Nowadays, you can do that shit on a laptop. Like, you'd be hard pressed to. I don't know how they spend that much money on albums now because everything's so easier. It's like technology is great, man. I embrace it. There's stories about me, man. I'm telling you, I could be ruthless.
We'll talk about those stories in another a follow-up episode.
Yeah. We'll talk about the one-off with Marduk with 13 people in the band. Most of them a staff or roadies. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. because they had a proximity clause, and we were on the Black of Danzig.
Yeah.
So we drove way out in the middle of the desert. Somebody got us a gig, and there was nobody there. Like the PA was so shitty that we couldn't mic the drums. We just used it for vocals.
Yeah.
And we still like spiked up, just came out there. Marduk came with dumping blood over their head.
Yeah.
And I found a profound respect for those guys because
Yeah.
they did one of the best shows of the entire tour for nobody. There was like this old lady with a wig on, like, you know, like just like an old barfly. And no, I'm not throwing shit at old barflies, but it was like just the middle of nowhere. It was so goofy, but they put on such a good show, man. They're awesome. Man.
That's cool.
Those are the best ones.
Hell yeah.
They had a stripper pole in their bus.
Marduk did.
Yeah, just walking around with their fucking big European dicks out all the time.
Those Euro guys love being naked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like fucking almost hit me in the side of the head and shit.
Yeah, we always wonder about that. Well, what's up with the European bands? And they're like, after the show, right away, they all just get naked and hang out in the bus together.
Yeah, they're just fucking dicks out.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, no, I've never.
I'm gonna go to the front of the bus, Johnny.
Yeah, well, that's like a Big Rob. Remember Big Rob, the roadie?
Yes, I remember Big Rob.
Yeah, well, rest in peace.
He
was such a homophobe, man. I was like, you got to drive. Part of it was driving. We're on a budget. We're all switching driving. Yeah. He was so incensed. He canceled me. I'm going over to the Marduk bus. Like a couple hours later, he comes back and he's like, there were dicks. No. There were dicks. He was like freaked. So like, yeah, we were all fucking with him. They wrote a song about him called Big Rob, the Rockstar Roadie, and had
they did.
That's awesome.
That was funny, man.
Rest in peace, yeah.
Okay, I'll let you go.
We can talk to you
man,
all day.
I'll sit here and talk to you all night.
Did I do okay?
Oh, you're
Dude,
awesome.
amazing, man. Amazing.
I didn't sleep last night. Oh, yeah, you were awesome.
Right? Oh.
Yeah,
I'm a little dragging, but I felt I love talking to you guys. It's awesome. So.
Yeah, it was great talking.
So
to you,
I have
man.
to do a Power Slave tattoo tomorrow. Should I just write "Hail Paul Diano," like hide it down there? Or just like
I thought the moral of the story was everybody fucks up. No.
Yeah.
Or Bruce hates metal.
Yeah,
Death metal.
You're not doing it right.
Everybody fucks up. Yeah,
Iron Maiden is for housewives.
Yeah. Metallica, they might be bigger than us, but they're not real music like us.
So I'm just gonna show up with a Kill 'Em All drawing instead. He's gonna be like, "What's this?" Well,
it scared me though because I put that quote up, and I was like, "Poor Bruce has lost his fucking mind" on my story, and literally like not even a minute later, my whole site clicked off. I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, what did I do? I was ready to double down on a live.
Iron Maiden police.
Then it clicked back on, so I was like, but that my heart sank, dude. I need my Instagram.
That's right. We need you too.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Not that I'm Instagram, but we need you on Instagram.
and fuck all the cancelers and fuck all the haters.
That's right.
Yeah,
if anybody starts talking shit, just come to me and we'll put them on blast. So.
That's right.
That's right.
That's how you do it, man. Just blossom. You know, people don't expect that these days. They talk shit, and then when you call them out, they're like,
there's a video. There's a video that said something like Jeff Becerra called me out because right after Rue, I was so proud of it because I know it's a good album. Like I'm not an idiot. I'm not so stupid to know there are a lot of work put in that album. And if people understand Possessed, people either love Possessed or hate Possessed. I understand that.
Yeah.
But the things he was saying, it didn't make sense, right? Mm-hmm. And so I went and I said, look at what this guy's saying to me. And everybody started throwing shade at him. And I even said, I'm not trying to throw shade or anything.
Yeah. Just,
does anybody think he's right? Because I want to know if I'm doing something wrong, honestly, right? Because if I'm oblivious, sometimes life is like a Greek tragedy, you know? The protagonist in a Greek tragedy has a fatal flaw and everybody fucking knows it in the novel but him or her, you know? And sometimes we all do that, you know? What, have you ever just thought you were right and you were fucking wrong?
Yeah.
That's a weird feeling, you know?
Yeah.
Or like, it's like the feeling whenever you send a text to the wrong person. And you like, throw the phone down, you're like, what the fuck? Just an abject terror and shit. And you start thinking like, can I lie? a crazy man, a bum stole my phone, and like,
How am I gonna pull this off?
Especially if you're talking shit about the person that you.
You just text accidentally.
It's out of context. You just got to live up to it. Yeah.
That wasn't me.
But anyway, it's funny. He's like, I put a lot of work into my 15-minute YouTube video. I'm like, I put a lot of work into the fucking album. Like, what's the difference? And he's like, that's not fair because you're a giant and I'm just a little YouTuber.
Don't talk shit.
Like, yeah, like at least make sense, you know. Like,
yeah, exactly.
But I'm petty like that. I'm a petty motherfucker.
I don't think it's petty.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's not
petty. I'm petty. No.
Oh.
I used to get caught in the wormhole of like right after Best Ink came out because I never even owned a TV, a very analog, and they came up to me at a tattoo convention. Do you want to be on this show? And I was like, hell no, I don't watch TV. Rad. I'm fucking metal, dude. I don't fucking watch TV. And I just
that's
got tattooing. Thing, yeah. Yeah, I didn't. I just collected record collecting nerd. I had a bed. I had all my records, CDs, tapes, all my shit. And tattoo stuff. And they were just like, we don't care. We want you on it. So I was on the show and people would be like, dude, did you see what so-and-so said? And people are sending me stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck this guy, you know? And I get all wrapped into it. And then I'm like, oh my God, that's what they want. Oh my God, I had to step away. And he was the chillest dude. Like Johnny's like, you just can't let him steal your piece, man. And I just always think of that anytime I'm like trying to like maybe rebuttal someone or you know.
Well, people know, they fucking know I'm coming back at them. If they talk shit about me, I'm coming right back. And so like, I put up that fucking pop song and I got 3 comments because I know everybody was cringing. But hey, man, I'm like exploring my phone page.
Man, I haven't even seen that. I'm gonna have to go check that out. I'll be your number one fan of your pop.
I'll play him for
It's so bad.
It's great.
So bad.
I loved it. I love it because you know here's Jeff Becerra, right?
The king of death metal.
And he's just playing this riff. It sounds like it reminds me of Iron Butterfly.
It was because I snuck a little nod to Iron Butterfly in there.
Yeah, it's sort of reminding me like it sounds like Iron Butterfly.
I put the one riff, you know, one riff, but the other riff is different. It's kind of inspired. And I was like, what am I going to do on that? I was like, oh, this is neat because I'm on BandLab. I was like, auto tune, like let's fuck with it. So I originally sent it to my wife because we talk about every day. Every day at 6, she walks the dog. She's like she's a exercise holic. Like every day she exercises like 3 to 6 hours. She does 32-mile super marathons. She doesn't eat meat. She's just a total health fanatic, and she loves the kids like I love the kids, and it's a win-win situation. So every day at 6 she'll call me up, and I'm like she helped me write some of the lyrics. Then I was like, should I put like I'm hunting cat because pussy is in season? Nah, that's corny. And she's like, no, leave it in, right? I'm hunting cat tonight because pussy is in season. And it's so funny because, you know, I'm singing it to a very specific person. And it's a love song, but it's like a Funko Pop song. And I'm like, and I was like, I'm not going to show anybody this. I was like, wonder what happened if I showed somebody this. And I couldn't let it go, so I just posted it.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it's like when what came out. There was Friendster. Then remember Friendster? Then there was MySpace.
There was LiveJournal.
Yeah, and then there was a bunch of other ones after that. But then it was kind of like the MySpace Friendster thing. And everybody's like, "Look, Friendster, we're going to MySpace." And then MySpace was cool for a long time, and then.
MySpace was so good for music. Oh my God.
It was great for music.
And then you could have your song on your profile. So if you went to someone's profile and there's some lame ass song, you're like, fuck this poser.
Yeah. And remember LimeWire?
Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah, it was a music sharing thing, right?
You could get anything, dude. Yeah. It was the dark web. You would run into the worst shit ever. And it just polluted your shit with viruses every time you used it. But it was like free music. But you would run into the most vile, disgusting shit on LimeWire, but it was like that. It was like, and it just like destroyed. Like I probably went to like 4 laptops.
It's crazy how fast it has evolved, social media, or devolve. I don't know, but
I
can't keep up with it all. I'm tattooing for 8 hours a day usually, and then I'll look at my phone. I'm like, oh God, 45 texts, all the. I just get all overwhelmed. I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna make dinner and try again tomorrow.
so wait, what is the tattoo? It's not Eat Masters. It's
It's called Best Ink Season 2. It was
Is
on the
that on
Oxygen
YouTube?
channel. There's some clips on YouTube, but it's on Amazon. I think you have to buy it though. It's like
I have
$12
Amazon.
for the whole season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's on Amazon. So
Yeah.
Best Ink Season 2.
Best
It's really silly, and I kept saying no, and they kept calling the shop that I worked at, and they were like, "Please, we want you," and I'm like, "Why?" They were like, "We saw you at the convention."
You were born for. Yeah, like you got that photogenic. You know it's true. Some people are just fun to look at. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm very tattooed. Very silly. So they were like, "You're fucking silly. You're very tattooed, whatever."
And you were like, "Rawr." Like I saw the one clip and I was like, "Oh man, this is good."
I was kind of like fucking with them too. And then Pete Wentz was a host, but we didn't know that. So we go, I didn't even know who the fuck that was. But the first episode, they take us to like
so funny.
This is like some high rise building in LA, and I'm not from California, so I don't know where the fuck. I'm like Texas girl. All right, I got my cowboy boots on. I'm fucking all metaled out. I'm like just fucking. I put on all black, and they go, "Honey, you can't wear all black." I'm like, "No, I'm like the metal chick. I'm wearing all black." And they were like,
definitely.
"No, honey, when you see this chick, you're gonna." And it was like a super goth girl, so I got it. So I'm wearing these fire red pants when I walk out of the first episode. So I walk all fucking trying to look like KK or something. I don't know. Glenn Tipton.
you're like, you represent metal like in a big way.
Right.
Thank you. But yeah, I kept telling them no, and they kept begging me to be honest. I was like, fuck it. So I go in the first episode. They were like, "Man, you're gonna freak out. You got a super rock star host, right?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, Hetfield." I don't know why I just thought like Hetfield was gonna come out, right? I was like all excited. So we go up to the top of this building, and then we're all standing there like, anticipating the host. There's cameras everywhere, all these people, and then this little guy walks out, and they're like, "Aren't y'all excited?" And we're like, "Where's Hetfield?"
Who is Pete Wentz?
Exactly. So I'm not trying to dog him. Well,
You don't know who he is.
Johnny knew.
Everyone knows who he is.
Johnny knew who he was probably more than I did, but probably
Who is he?
he played in a band called Fall Out Boy. It was like a pop punk kind of teeny bopper band, but I wouldn't fucking know that.
What are they called?
They're called Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy.
Oh yeah, I remember that band.
Yeah.
So he's the bass player. They were huge, right? And so, but I didn't know that. And honestly, nobody else on the show really knew. There were like two other people that were kind of like, "Is that Pete Wentz?" I'm like, "Who's Pete Wentz?" I thought it was going to be Hetfield. They said a fucking rock star. We're in fucking California. God damn it.
Yeah.
And so I don't realize San Francisco's here and LA's here because I'm from Texas. And anyway, it was just hilarious. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. But yeah, so the whole.
I wear spurs on stage. You know that.
Come on down.
Yeah, the whole time we were filming the show, I was just fucking with Pete, and he would just like flip me off. I'd be like, "What's your favorite song on that album of the shirt you're wearing?" "Master of Puppets," and he'd be like, "Oh, fuck you, Brittany." I'm like, "You can't even name the title track, Master of Puppets," And so they had
I can't
to
even
cut
tell you how many fucking world parties I've had with you.
So they had to cut all this footage, like, "Quit fucking with Pete, Brittany." I'm just like, "Yes, sir."
But that playful banter is great for TV. Yeah,
exactly.
But didn't they threw you off, right? I mean,
they threw me off. Yeah, they threw me off for, like, I won't say early, but not late. I won't spoil it, but
it's too early.
Yeah. Everybody was like, "Why'd you kick her off? She's hilarious," And I was just like, I was just being myself, and I was hamming it up a little bit. But
from what I saw, you're definitely the best character on there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Everyone took it too serious. I was just kind of like, "Man, I'm here to do cool tats. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, fuck you. You're cool. All right, let's go."
Fuck you. Okay, you're cool.
Yeah. I'm here to win some money for my dad, who was struggling at the time, and my mom had just passed away of a fentanyl overdose, and it was just like all crazy in my life. And I was just like, "You know what? Fuck this. They keep calling me for a reason. I'm gonna go win my dad some money and buy my dad a fucking house. Let's go." So that was my goal. But it's fun to watch, and if you know me or have talked to me, it's even funnier. So
cool.
So Pete Wentz walks out, and there's like, "Here's your host, Pete Wentz." There's crickets. Who's this guy, right? So they're like,
"This is not Jeff Becerra."
They're like, "All right, we gotta do this take again." So he comes. They go, "All right." When he comes out, cheer, like applaud or something.
Yeah, they had to instruct us. They were like, "Guys, you got to cheer." And so on the first episode, now that you know this, you're gonna fucking die when you watch it, because he comes out and I'm like, "Fuck yeah!"
Exactly.
No, actually, I go like this. I'm like, yeah. And I'm just like totally fucking silly. And they're just like, oh my God, this girl's a mess. I'm like, hey man, you begged me to be on your TV show. You're in big trouble now.
It seems like they would be eating that up because it's such good footage.
Exactly. Yeah.
They were for a while. And then this one chick, she was also Texan, and she wasn't. I found out she was from Kansas City, and she was like, "Oh, you're from San Antonio," and I'm like, "Yeah, what's up? You're from Austin?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm from Austin." I was just like, "Damn, bitch, what's the attitude?" And so, whatever, I'm just gonna be myself.
All bougie.
Yeah, right. And so we were riding in the shuttle to the first episode, and they were like, "Do not talk to each other till you're on camera." And some Metallica song came on. This is what prompted me to think it was Hetfield, right? And so some Metallica song comes on, we're all silent, just sizing each other up because we hadn't met each other yet. We couldn't talk unless we were on camera at the studio. And this chick's just eye fucking me, just looking at me, and I'm like, bitch, what are you looking at? And they're like, Brittany, stop talking. I'm like, okay. So I was like, damn, I love Metallica. Just trying to break the ice and be silly. And she goes, I hate Metallica. And I was like, bitch, I can tell we're not going to get along. They're like, stop fucking talking to each other. Right. And so as soon as we
That's just weird.
Yeah, dude, it's Metallica. Fuck you, man. And so we get to the set, and it's immediately like, fuck you, fuck you. So that made for some pretty good TV.
Okay, like if you don't like Metallica, that's weird.
Dude, I have their logo tattooed on my fucking hand where I draw every fucking day. That's just nice. That's the first band that got me into metal as a kid. I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, you know. So. Yeah,
I mean, they were always at the Possess House. We were always at the Metallica Mansion.
Metallica Mansion.
Awesome. We had some roar parties.
Oh, I bet. Did you ever make it to the Exodus? You probably hung out at the Exodus Mansion, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, we there was the parties were just staggering and biblical in proportions. I took, the big closet mirrors, the whole closet door is a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I took one of those off and put it on the good table in the Possessed Mansion and just made a giant pirate ship of cocaine. Like piles of cocaine. Like
a pirate ship, not a boat, a pirate ship.
The Cheech Chong Up in Smoke paper?
Yeah.
Larry rolled a joint, was like that big around, dude. Like, it was like, oh my God, it was excessive. Like cases of Everclear, like throwing the lizard tails. Oh. James is like all drunk. He's like, man, that's just too metal. It's too metal for you. Too metal for me. Oh, it's too metal for you. And James is like, see how fast you can do it. It's too metal for you. We're like, crap, dude. Too metal for you.
That is amazing. Oh,
too metal for you.
That's funny.
That's so good. Oh my God, my cheeks hurt. That's amazing.
James is fucking smart. He's funny. And he can he'll throw shade at people, and he'll be making fun of somebody, but it feels like a compliment. He's got this really clever. He's super smart. In the Ruthies, he would come up and talk in your ear, but his voice is so fucking loud. It's like your whole eardrum is and you don't want to shirk away because it's James. And then Lars, we're doing bumps, and he jumps up on Crystal from the Possessed Fan Club's Lincoln and just starts. There's all these horrified women sitting in the front of the Lincoln with Lars pissing on the windshield, it's they're like, oh, it's so funny, dude. And Kirk is so laid back and cool. Yeah,
that's Kirk. Yeah, he's just mellow. But.
Yeah, he's super cool, dude. And Kirk is in the Possessed. He went to Nuclear Blast. Here's one of the reasons we got signed with Nuclear Blast, because Gerardo Martinez, the president of Nuclear Blast USA,
mm-hmm.
was saying oh, we got this band and we got that band, and Kirk goes, yeah, now you just need Possessed, and awesome. That was it. And
that was it.
Was right there. Yeah, so it was perfect timing.
Wow, oh, great story. That's cool.
Yeah, Kirk loves Possessed, and he talks about Possessed a lot. So yeah, I think Dave Mustaine also talked about Possessed in the original footage of the Big Four, but it got cut. The highlight of my career when another successful musician talks about me.
Yeah, dude, it's so cool. That's great when another musician compliments you and talks about you.
Yeah, I remember I used to think it was Dave sold his band as ex-Metallica. I'm like, you're fucking Dave Mustaine, man.
Yeah,
you don't need to quit that. Everybody knows that. Yeah,
the best.
is so famous now. Man.
So
The best thing is, not the best thing, but I think what's incredible and what's awesome is he gets booted out and then he goes out and starts this fucking thrash band is just fucking monumental. I mean, that first album is just,
it's so good.
It's rad. I love it, man.
Bruce says, all thrash sucks except for that one song from Megadeth, Holy War.
That's
a shining endorsement.
Yeah.
But he's so good. The mechanics of it.
Yeah.
He's so good. He's so good. Yeah. And we played some roaring shows. Like I remember we were sitting in my hotel room, me and Dave was partying, like jabberjaw, jabberjaw, jabberjaw. And Junior's out in the fucking parking lot throwing up. And there's all these chicks around us. Because let's face it, I was cute when I was young. And
you look the same.
Hey, you're not wrong.
We ran out
Wait,
of
is this you? I need to debunk this.
Yeah.
I know that.
I have the cross on my arm, the crosses. Yeah. But so we ran out of papers and Dave's just like, so I need a Bible paper. I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude, but does one of you young ladies happen to be on your period? Because if I need a Tampax. I'm like, here's a Tampax. He rolls this bomber joint that just says Tampax on the side. We're smoking it. And then we're like smoking out of Revelations, and then, then I'm like, fuck, I got to play with Slayer tomorrow. Fucking, this is no joke. I'm going to be so hungover. So, and Dave would leave. We were wired for sound. So I was like, hey, let's go smoke a cigarette. And we went outside. I ran back in when he wasn't looking to lock the door. I put the fucking covers over my head. And Dave's going, dook, 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 dook. He's like, hey, Jeff, open up. It's Dave Mustaine from Megadeth.
From Megadeth.
Dave who?
I gotta sleep. Put my head on the pillow. I felt so bad. Like I had to hide from Dave Mustaine. But he was so, and then me and Rocky tried to get him drunk. I'm like, we got to get this guy drunk. He's a monster on guitar. He's going to fucking slaughter us. So I had a pint of pop-off. He had pop-off. I had a pint of cheap brandy. Dave fucking drinks it all. Like, we're letting him have as much. Goes up there fucking soloing and singing just perfectly. I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is impossible.
Yeah, he's a maniac.
He's a freak. He's a freak, dude. He's so good.
He's so good.
Yeah,
I know. That Holy War solo just fucking kills me every time I hear it, man.
We used to have a ritual where we would watch it every Sunday morning, right? The video, and you'd be like, topless Ellison.
Yeah.
They're all
topless Megadeth, and then there's Junior playing his bass.
Like, that's another motherfucker that should have not have got canceled, though. Like, I mean, like, since Wayne Can't Rock Stars fucking, what did he do? I don't understand what he did. Like, because he's not in jail. He's not in jail. Like, it's
Ellison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he in jail?
No, I don't think so.
No, and I think that like whatever.
So I don't think he did.
I don't know what happened. Some girl accused him of something and then immediately retracted what she said. I don't know much about it, so I won't say much.
I mean, if he did something, I mean, he would probably be in trouble, and he's not in trouble. So I don't know. I just don't. Some things don't make sense. Like, like why does a certain faction of metalheads not like pretty women? Like every time I have a pretty possessed model, shade. Like just shade. I can't even. I have to story it because the whole concept of spending money for a commercial is lost because it's just shit talking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it depends on the girl. Like if the girl is really pretty, there's more shade. And I had this one motherfucker come up and said, "Well, I have a Cherry Von Darling. She's one of my favorite possessed models. She's beautiful from Spain, and her husband like ride a Harley. She's super cool. Puts a lot of time and effort, lighting, and just killer clothes and some really showcases that like it's definitely worth sending free merch. And that's generally what she's, of course, I'm sure she monetized, but she's just into metal, like very much. And so this one guy goes, all right, well, since you put that bitch on your thing, like I want you to showcase my band and pump me up. I listened to his band. This dude is not a young guy. He's like pushing 40 or 40 something. They're so like the drummer's not on. Their fucking accents are off. It's super sloppy. And I'm like, dude, like no, I can't do it. He's like, that's fucked up. You put that C word on there just because she's got tits and ass, but you won't like promote a real motherfucker. I'm like, real motherfucker. You're fucking like, how old are you? You fucking suck. You can't even fucking play. At least fucking Cherry puts fucking time. I'm sure she puts way more time and effort into her productions than you, because you can't even fucking play, bro. You're a disgrace, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not cool. You're just fucking a simp. And I know, dude, you honestly suck. Like, because if people know me, I don't lie. Like, I have no reason to lie, like, because your words have value to me, right? So, like, I'm not usually brutally honest either, but the dude was such an asshole, man. Like, he was just like, ooh, I turned him into a puddle, dude. I just railed on him. Like, I railed on him. I was just very succinct and honest. And
good.
And what makes people think that you owe them anything? That's the thing that I don't get. It's like, what the fuck?
Because I had a female model that was beautiful modeling Possessed, because, hey, let's face it, man, people like pretty girls and merch, you know?
Yeah.
Or pretty boys too. I mean, I'll put handsome guys, handsome girls. What am I going to do? Like, you know, and they'll be thick or thin or whatever, but they're handsome, it sells. So
they're haters.
It's gonna be, there's gonna be, you know what? There's gonna be haters no matter what you do. People are gonna hate on you. So
I don't mind haters. I just don't like misogynists.
Yes.
I don't. You know, like I say, and I'm not saying that. I talk about this all the time. Like, I just don't understand why that level of weirdness exists. You know, they hate her for being beautiful. Like, what the fuck?
You should promote my band because you promoted a beautiful woman wearing your shirt. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with that? You know, like,
I hate to rain on your
band.
parade. I hate to rain on your parade, but you actually got to put time into your music. If you stop fucking flapping your fucking pole smokers, you fucking practice your guitar and shit.
Exactly.
Like, like, what it is to the level of narcissism and just cluelessness was just, it's like the Greek tragedy again. Like, where did he, and nobody's telling these people that they're great. They're just like legends in their own
self-professed
language.
greatness. Yeah.
I never understood that, like, that level of narcissism. How can you, that's why they can't play. They can't be hypercritical. Like, a real musician is your own worst critic. Like, you literally don't know if it's good or bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, when we put out Revelations, I was like, I don't even know. You know, I have no idea at this point. You're so invested in it, you just don't even know. And the songs that you think are going to hit don't hit as much as it's like you can never predict what's going to happen.
Yeah, you can't predict it. Yeah,
that's how it is with my tattoos too. I tell Johnny I'll put so many hours of work into something, and I'm like, man, this is killer, and it seems like nobody's interested in it. Then I put up some silly bullshit tattoo or something, and everybody's like, oh my god, it's amazing. I'm like, what? That? But what about that? You know,
exactly.
So yeah,
art is so subjective. It's so subjective.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of it, right?
Yep. Exactly. You guys coming out first, and you didn't want to pigeonhole yourselves in that category of, you know.
True. I mean,
that's the same.
That listen to the level of musicianship on Seven Churches. I'm like, I can't believe that fucking word. It's not enough to be first where you actually got to play.
Yeah,
it's such a good album though.
There's so many good musicians out there, man. It's fucking scary. You know, like, you can't fucking fake it anymore. It's not enough just to make noise and yell again.
Yeah, but you know, you're talking about how bands have, like, you know, their Visceral Fate has their Melissa, Metallica has their, Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning. You know, you guys, you got Seven Churches, man. You know, that's one of those albums that's just gonna. It's gonna be.
Exorcist comes on, you're like,
Exorcist comes on. Like, what the fuck? You know?
That was kind of like a fluke too. It's like, we never planned on doing that. We came in there, smoked a little bit, and Larry was on there was a grand piano, a Prophet, a mini move, and Larry's like, ding, 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 ding. And we're like, hey, we should put that on the album, right? And we just like grandiosed it out, right? I was like, I remember we're like, we'll just change a few notes and we won't get copyright struck. And we didn't for some weird reason. We never, Did you know there was another band called Possessed before Possessed? Unbeknownst to me.
No.
Yeah, and from what I hear, they had a series of tragedies. Paul something's possessed, and that band, like, in a weird way, morphed into Judas Priest.
Whoa.
Into Judas Priest?
Yeah.
What?
In a way, like, some members. It's like it was like, I forget the exact story. I probably should know this, but yeah, they had like a series of tragedies, And but I didn't. And there was a band called Death before Death too. They were the first all black punk band.
Yes.
In the 70s, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So there was no internet, you know.
Yeah.
So I just copyright the shit or trademark everything. Back then, you could like send the mail to yourself, self-addressed in a special envelope, and then whenever it came up, you could just show it, or you take it to them.
Yeah.
So, but now it's like $1,200 to do a trademark. I want to change the trademark laws because they have these like these arts and crafts thing where artists can put up their art, and they're like a smoke screen between the band or anybody and the artist. Everything is, they work as a go-between, so you never know who they are. So as soon as they make it really hard, like if they got 400 things, you have to fill out 400 forms. You have to it's so time consuming. Wow. I just sent them a fucking thing. I said, and they have so much Slayer shit. They have fucking Chuck stuff like that. None of that money's going to the family. They have Cliff Burton, rest in peace, all bootlegs. Every band on there is bootleg. And I said, it's either you're just so fucking stupid or you're just the worst business people in the world because you're a whole bread and butter. I mean, every single fucking band is a bootleg, and it's disgusting. And I don't care how much it's going to cost because I was irked, man. You're like, it's like that matters. Like when you create something, that should be yours. Like people can't say like Jeff didn't. He's not Death Metal. That's not the possess. Like or they hide it in parody or. I'm like, like if you fucking want to use my logo, fucking pay me. Yeah. And it's not like I'm fucking asking for tons of money. Yeah. It's the respect of it. And I don't like that. I don't like when people just steal shit.
Absolutely. Steal shit, Not to mention if they're making money off your logo, you should be making
right. Lots of money too.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. It blows.
I mean, technically it's up to a $125,000 fines and up to 5 years in federal penitentiary for piracy. Counterfeit.
Yeah, that's federal.
You're counterfeiting a U.S. or a global patent.
Yeah,
if you have that patent, which is a trademark, it's a U.S. patent, then that's carte blanche. That's your fucking patent.
Yeah,
I'm talking something I feel very strongly about. Is I don't think fucking people.
For sure. Yeah, there's nothing worse than a fucking thief.
Yeah, I got shot by thieves.
Yeah,
twice.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah. They got 8 years. Okay,
that's it.
Wow.
8 years. Yeah.
In and out.
So he was only 19. The second guy shot my finger off was only 14, and he was mildly retarded because or mentally challenged because his mom was smoking crack when she was pregnant.
Oh, right.
So I don't really hold it against him, but the one guy was just fucking mean. Yeah. He like killed his first person when he was like 9 or something.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
As soon as he got out, he killed his cousin. So not nice guys.
No.
The 14-year-old was a victim of circumstance, I think.
Yeah.
But the 19-year-old was just fucking ruthless.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we thank someone that you're still here with us. So
thank for a reason.
The man upstairs, the energy, I don't know, someone.
Oh yeah,
you're around with us, and you're still jamming, and you're still admired and loved by so many.
Something is fucked up in my head where I need like thousands of people to love me, or I feel worthless. So,
well, we're only 2, but we love you.
Well, we think you're awesome, man. You're just
I love you guys too.
Innovator, you're just top notch, dude.
Hell yeah.
It was great touring with you.
Someday I'll get you to sign my record.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you come down to Texas to get tattooed.
You got those things are going for like fucking $1,200 a pop now.
Well, really? Mine's not for sale, John.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
My signature is worth like $78. It's probably getting watered down because I'm selling posters. But
you can put my name on it, so you know.
And then if I sign it, and then if by the grace of Satan I pass away, that thing's gonna be worth a fucking mint.
Just scribble all over it.
Jeff Becerra, no, I can't put your name on it because it's worth more just the signature.
No, that's what I'm saying. You got to put my name on it so you know I would never sell it.
Yeah, they're not going
I would beseech you to sell it if I passed away, because that would be a nice grip of money.
No way.
You're priceless, all right? Yeah. And I've had that for over a decade at least.
Or we could get one of the reissues, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, man. You come down to Texas, you get a place with us. You can stay with
Anytime.
us.
I might take you up on that.
Yes.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Okay. All right. Well, I love you guys.
We love
That'd be great. It'd be an
you.
honor to have you here.
No, right now I'm up with my parents because my mother has dementia, and while I was laid up, I was going to stay here for a year to recover, but my dad he's asked me to stay on and help around. So
Yeah, that's
Aw.
good. Very good.
Yeah.
Spend that time with them. I lost both my parents already. And one thing that I try not to regret too many things in life because like you, I try to feel like everything happens for a reason. My
Mhm.
great grandmother told me that before she passed, everything happens for a reason, even if it's, you don't understand it right away. But yeah, I regret not spending as much time with
parents.
my mom
Yeah,
when I
man,
was
I
like
was
25.
a-
But yeah,
I was a rotten kid, man. I'm still making up for that.
yeah, just spend all that time with your dad and your mom.
But they have willed the house. I mean, so the whole estate is, but like I say, like money's not my motivating factor, but it is good for surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're the blue collar fans.
Yeah. It allows you to do
we
what
actually
you
work
love
for a
to do.
living.
And it allows you to do what you love to do,
Yeah. That's another reason I don't like a trademark infringement is because that's one of like 3 primary sources of income.
Yeah.
So if you don't have money as a manager, like I will front all the money for tours and I need that bubble or the band doesn't play.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Keep in touch,
Awesome.
man.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hey, like I literally don't sleep. You can call 24/7 because if I'm asleep, the ringer will be off. So you can never, anytime.
Awesome. We'll check in on
So
you.
if I don't answer, I will get back to you.
Kick
And if I
ass.
don't answer, still just keep calling until it comes to the top. No.
Fuck yeah, we will.
We will do that.
Awesome. Bye,
All
Jeff.
right,
Thank you
Have
so
a good
much.
night, man.
You're the best.
Thank you. God bless you.
See ya.
Have a good night.
Excellent,
God bless you too.
So there you have it, episode 3.
Episode 3 with Mr. Becerra. That was awesome.
Yeah,
He's funny, man. He's got a lot to say. He's a good guy.
that was great. That was one of the best 3 hours of my life. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, for sure.
So we might have to do a part 2 with Jeff because he's just so much fun. We didn't even get to ask him most of the questions that we had written down because from the second we sat down for the interview, it was just like, what's up? It was like we're all just long lost friends hanging out and shooting the shit. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask Jeff or want to ask us, feel free to leave them in the comments. Go to our Haunted Chapel YouTube and become a subscriber and leave us a comment. Let us know who you want to see on the podcast, what you want to hear, and ask Johnny some questions about his tour life because we're going to be interviewing a lot of people on the podcast. But I know you have a million stories. I have a million stories. So if there's something specifically you guys want to hear, drop us a comment. Let us know.
That's right.
Yeah.
And, we're gonna get some more guests lined up for you. Maybe we're gonna get our maybe a tattoo artist in here so Britt can.
I already have a few lined up.
We got some lined
heavy
up.
hitters.
Yeah, that's right. I'm excited to talk to these tattooers.
Yeah.
Great to hear like their beginnings and
Yeah.
what inspired them to tattoo. And
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So yeah, you guys will not be disappointed.
Right.
Thank you all again for tuning in and for liking and subscribing to the Haunted Chapel podcast and to the Haunted Chapel YouTube. And we'll be making a bunch more merch coming soon. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned and remember to keep it heavy and stay
Stay haunted.